Oh, hello. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are, and welcome to my channel. I'm Lorena Creole, of course, bringing you that spice when it comes to sci-fi and pop culture analysis, and of course, keeping it real when it comes to theme parks. And speaking of keeping it real, Stitch and I would like to welcome you to the Resort Recon live podcast. This is my in-studio show where I get together with myself and other theme park aficionados, and we just basically give you the straight dope with what's going on with the theme park news, advice, tips, and tricks to save you money, time, and most importantly, your sanity when you go and visit the parks. And we're a diverse panel of folks, and when I say diverse panel of folks, I mean we've done the theme parks as kids, as teenagers, as college students, as parents. So yeah, we are some theme park commandos on this channel. But above all, we love the parks, various parks, not just the Florida parks, not just the California parks, but parks all over Texas. And actually, we're going to get into some news from a park that I never got to visit, but lots of my friends did. Busch Gardens, Williamsburg. Remember, it used to be the old country? Yeah, I got news about that too. So much news about that. We've got news about Universal basically nerfing Hagrid's coaster. Yeah, nerfing that from the Express Pass. So we're going to talk about what's up with that. And I'm not happy about it. Your girl is going to rant about it. My panelists are going to rant about it. Carousel of Progress, as we know it, is going to shut down July 5th. Keep that date in mind, July 5th. Why? Because they're going to update it for modern audiences. We're going to talk about exactly why the modern audience is the problem. And WVI of late, maybe we should call them Gensler because of all the homogenized crap that they've got going on. But yeah, your girl made a mistake of saying, well, I won't say mistake. We'll just say I guess I spoke it into existence. I knew it was going to happen. I said, what they did with getting rid of Rivers of America, watch out for Carousel of Progress. Mm-hmm. But anyway, we're going to talk about it with my bud. So let me bring up here on the stage. We have got my girl Erica from Hanging with Erica and Rob, and we have got Ron, my oldie buddy from Follow the Bradley Spun. How you guys doing?
Sometimes it's Target. Sometimes it's, you never know.
That's
it
true.
Could be Walmart.
I'm loving this Target delivery stuff. It's great.
We actually, Lorena and I, a lot of people don't know, we started in the original. These are the people in your neighborhood. That's where we are. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, it's something else. We keep running into each other. It's like it's great. It's great, especially where we live at. So comfy. Well, speaking of comfy, there are over 45 of you folks starting to drop in here. Whether you're watching on my channel, Erica's channels, Ron's channels, make sure you're subscribed, like, sub, all of that good stuff to all of us, because I've been gone for way too long because life has been crazy. So I've had to kind of readjust. But this show is back because Florida is preheating, which means I'm not out the parks because of how hot it is. But a lot of you who are visiting from out of town will be coming here during the summer. So lots of tips and tricks and advice that we have for you guys. So let's see who we have here in the chat before we get to rocking and rolling here. Let's see. We have got Dance Life at the Kingdom. Hello. Says not a great, big, beautiful tomorrow, Lorena. Y'all will see my post on X. This ain't it, fam.
No.
This is so not it. And I love how some people try to use Walt Disney's words against them. I'll say, well, Walt was always about, moving forward and, and innovating, and the parks were always going to change. Change. Notice that word, not progress. We're going to talk about that later. And Erica is here waving. I'm so glad she's here. We have got Tom doing the drive-by, like and hi. I'll watch the replay later. I totally understand, my dear. And let's see, of course, Ron saying hi to everyone. We have got the Bud Files. Good morning. Good morning.
Bud Files.
Walked in from Erica or Ron's channels. I don't know. I just see like the little link. It's just like
I don't know either. I
guess
I could check.
I think Sue's on mine. Hey, Sue.
We just like to, how they say, rising tide lifts all boats. That's what we do. We support all of, everyone's channels, kind of like, are you streaming? Are you streaming the stream to your channel? Why not? Why not? Click button. Thank you, Lorena. We are here for a real treat, like Gene Shepherd would say. Yeah. It's one thing to be a pixie duster and talk about it. It's another one to be a true Disney kid who grew up in the Eisner era. To explain it to you. And it's yet another case of people thinking that history begins with their particular generation.
Or to have had your next door neighbor be one of the original Mickey Mouse Club for 6 months. So it's so weird to me, even to this day, when I think about the fact that I talked to Bobby Burgess like almost every day for like 6 months. And at that time, I didn't realize he was that Bobby. He was just my neighbor. And I'm like, of course if later on, like a few years ago, I discovered, wait, Bobby Burgess is that. Okay. I did not know. I knew he was Bobby from Bobby and Elaine. I just didn't know he was Bobby.
That Bobby. Like, he's that Bobby. Hey, Farbrick Studio, good to see you. We have got Calendar 910. He says, good evening. Well, good evening to you. Glad you're here. Terry Rose is here, says, hello, friends. Good seeing you. And let's see, we have got TBB Coach Ron. Hello. Howdy. Freedom Seeker says, howdy, y'all. Well, howdy. And I love that. I love that avatar, dude.
I want to be your Huckleberry.
Yeah. That's talk about a good ass Western. Dang. They are pushing the message. Hey, Charles. Yes. Yes. And not message. Like from was it I'm gonna get you, sucker? I think it was from that. No, not that tongue-in-cheek funny stuff. Just the message to tell you this is what you're supposed to think. That's what scares me about Main Street USA. Dude, they got rid of the townspeople. Okay, they got rid of the townspeople. They got rid of the entertainment, the live entertainment, and the people, which is interesting because there's nothing but live entertainment strolling around at Epic Universe. I'm just saying, okay? Plenty of it, and people are eating it up. Ron is so much like the guy on the Rule show, Virtual TrekCon.
I don't know what that is, but I would like to know so I can figure out if I'm like that person. I have met another Ron Bradley before, but we were nothing alike. That's my mom.
Oh, Mom. That's Ron's mom. Hi. I feel like a kid. Hi, Ron's mom. See, Brew 1138 has afternoon all. Well, good seeing you, my dear. Good seeing you. And
Virginia.
Hey, hola, Virginia. Good seeing you. My Target shopping buddy.
Yes. Speaking of which, I think we should all go to Andy's later for the grand opening and get a $2 frozen custard.
Oh,
Andy's.
that's right. Andy's frozen custard.
So Andy's frozen custard.
Oh wait,
it's from Springfield, Missouri, which is where I moved here from, and now they're opening a location here. So I don't really know where else they have locations.
We went to one down in Ruskin, Florida. They had one down there.
Really?
And, it was very rich. I took like 3 bites. I couldn't finish it.
Culver's. I mean, it's similar to Culver's, so the frozen custard thing.
Oh, okay. Because I've never.
Oh, it is good, but man, I have to share even a small.
It's ice cream on crack, Lorena.
It is.
Oh, okay. Okay. I was like, is it like Tasty Free?
No, it's like ice cream, except way, way better.
You know what? This is what reminds me. If you ever go to Sonic, I don't know if they still have it, but it's the coconut cream pie shake.
Oh, really?
My lactose intolerant self, I had to risk it. I had it and I felt that sucker for like 3 days, but I didn't care. No. It was the most delicious thing going down.
I love coconut ice cream. So
it tasted like you were sipping a whole entire coconut cream pie. Yes.
Okay.
I kid you not. It almost was the end of me, but I was gonna go happy.
I get their strawberry limeades. That's my go-to.
That is good.
That sweet and tart with that ice, that soft, crunchy ice. Oh.
Mm-hmm. Does Baskin Robbins still have daiquiri ice?
I don't know. I have it on stick with Baskin Robbins. We had that in Germany, and once you had like real gelato.
Well, that's true.
Yeah,
you never want Baskin Robbins.
No, you
don't. One time I went into Baskin Robbins and I was served by Ant-Man, so that was cool.
Oh, that's interesting.
Before he got fired.
You know, I thought people were making it up about gelato, and then this was back when I was living in Philly, and I went to the mall, and it's the same gelato place, which I think is in the Florida Mall. I think still for me. I don't know. But either way, they had like the gelato out there. I'm like, I don't know if I want to try this. And, I'm not sure, but I did. I got one of the fruit ones, not the like the milk ones. I'm like, oh, this is really nice and dense. I absolutely freaking love it. Been addicted ever since. Freedom Seeker says, with all the changes they are doing at Carousel of Progress, can they continue to call it Walt Disney's Carousel of Progress? There will be nothing Walt left.
Exactly.
No, they cannot, and we are going to talk about that. But fun thing to kick off the stream, because I love seeing crazy stuff, and it seems like whether it's Japan or Disneyland Paris, they have just got some crazy stuff going on.
Oh no!
What the?
Ugly. I think that's before she got fired.
I was gonna say.
Forget you.
That's funny.
Poor Duffy. What?
Oh, goodness. Oh, I hate it when that happens. My heart sinks.
You wanna build a snowman?
Anyway, I was saying, I love these videos. They kill me. This one's right up there. Remember the one I showed Disneyland Paris, and Minnie Mouse is jumping up and down, and she was so excited that her bloomers fell down.
Yes, I will never forget that. And the way she scurried off, underwear down her ankles.
It was so darn funny.
You need to say that as a clip.
It reminds me of my days when I did work at the Magic Kingdom, and it's when you go down into the utilidors, and all the princesses are walking around in just their bloomers. You know, they don't have their full outfits on, or they're eating like. I mean, it's a little weird. Sometimes you get in an elevator and Chip and Dale are there, but they've got their heads in their arms like this.
It used to be back in the day, from what somebody said. Yeah, you go down there and you see, you know, like Mickey Mouse with his head off and he's smoking a cigarette between
yeah.
I'm smoking
Cinderella smoking a cigarette and she's half dressed and they're fitting her for her costume.
Sometimes you see Prince Eric and Prince Andrew in their. Well, never mind.
I have to laugh at this part because I have seen this live and in person at the Ohana breakfast with Lilo and Stitch, especially when Stitch doesn't get his way. Speaking of Stitch, he's under the table now. But yes, we're still working on his still working on your badness level. But yeah, I absolutely love videos like that. If you think that's funny, here's another one for you.
No! Let's go! Oh!
These boogers can dance. If you've ever seen them live, especially the ones who can.
That is crazy.
I like that. That thing. I don't know where they did it. Some mall somewhere. Didn't they have like silhouettes of the Disney characters dancing? I can't remember what the thing was. It was wild.
Dude, I found a clip out here that came through Instagram, and it's in this Instagram page that's a local page, and they just post all kinds of crazy things going on here in El Paso. And somebody, I don't know how, they got a hold of, I swear to you, an authentic Mickey Mouse costume, like what you see in the parks.
What?
And this Mickey Mouse was dressed in a cap and gown, and he was going into this what looked like a Mexican type restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
And I sat there and just kept watching it. And I'm like, I want to know how, maybe I don't want to know how they obtained a costume, unless someone's really good at making costumes like that. But girl, I was like, how? Without getting caught and getting your pants sued.
And getting a C&D by Disney, you know.
But we shared it on our stream last night, and I was like, I don't know. But the fact that this was shot here locally, and it's just so random because we're this itty bitty little like border town, way far out west of Texas, and you just find this random Mickey Mouse that looks like a Mickey Mouse costume for the parks.
Oh wow!
I'm like, yeah, I don't know how that happened, but it was quite the sight.
That is freaking hysterical! Oh my gosh! One more thing before we go, because I had to share this. This is so darn me. This is so me.
When you're a mom,
yeah,
and you're still that girl.
Oh, that girl.
Oh, can I have that kitchen?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Well, I mean, my kitchen's nice, but it ain't like that.
It looks so pristine and so clean, but yeah. Tell you how when you're one of those Disney moms raised in the Eisner era, you just kind of built differently.
Yeah, we are.
All right, well, let's go to our first piece of news coming to us from Attractions Magazine. Busch Gardens Williamsburg Summer of Wonder shows off new Rebolton revamp, drone show, and more. Now, Busch Gardens Williamsburg is funny because this park was formerly known as the Old Country. Okay. And I never got to go to this park. We would always wind up driving by the park on I-95 headed to Florida, but never got a chance to stop. And Busch, well, first of all, Williamsburg in general is a tourist and historical stop. Like you get to see, Jamestown recreation, the Williamsburg, like the old, basically how people lived in the 17th century.
Mhm.
And it's still popular, especially for those people who can't get to, like, say, Disney World, Disneyland, all of that. A lot of people go to Busch Gardens parks, and this one was one that I knew a lot of people would go to, like year after year. Erica, have you ever been to Busch Gardens? Williamsburg?
Not the one in Williamsburg, and Wrath has made a very strong statement. We will be annual pass holders to all the parks in the U.S., and we will be going to Williamsburg for that Busch Gardens. We've never been. We've heard it's better than the one in Tampa.
It is, and maybe our guys, it is, but mainly because of how long this park has been around. And okay, Oktoberfest at Busch Gardens. Okay, that was the thing to do, because before it became Busch Gardens Williamsburg, it was Busch Gardens the Old Country. So it was like, Germany, England,
Yeah, I heard
Rant.
it's got a European theme, that the theming is really good. I heard the theming is better there than what they did with the one in Tampa.
Yeah. Matter of fact, some people are like, why go to the one in Tampa?
I grew up at that one, and it's okay. But, when you're a local and that's your backyard park, you're kind of like, meh, because then you got Disney and Universal just an hour away. So it's like you'd rather drive across I-4 to go to the, I'm just going to say it, cleaner parks, because Busch Gardens has always been kind of like, the one in Tampa. And I ain't going to lie, lately, it's like all of ghetto Tampa, just
Oh, tell me
out there.
about it.
It's not in the best location in Tampa, right?
No, it's not. It's right in between USF and Busch Boulevard, which is
I haven't been there in quite some time.
It's not the most unsafest place to be, but there are worse areas, but it's sketchy. It is definitely a sketch area, and USF isn't any better just because there's a university on the other side. I've always been being raised out there. I would not move. I wouldn't live in that Temple Terrace area. It's really bad. Like cars are getting broken into all the time. Purses getting stolen. It's pretty bad.
I wouldn't either. But this is what I remember. These are the brochures that I remember. The Big Bad Wolf poster. Yeah, it was like such a cool cultural thing to like go to, So between Busch Gardens, the Old Country, Williamsburg with like the 17th century British colonists, it's like a whole recreation of a village. It's a whole cottage industry there. So yeah, this is one of those old school parks that still, retained a lot of its charm. So apparently they're gonna have the Summer of Wonder, 2 new shows, free concerts, and the debut of the park's first ever drone show. We've got indoor-outdoor launch coaster, Verbolten Forbidden Turn, taking riders on a tour along Germany's Autobahn and into the Black Forest. Man, I've been there for real. On the Autobahn and through the Black Forest. So yeah, animatronics, special effects. Look at this. So apparently it's a new storyline for it. That is cool.
If they don't serve Black Forest cake right outside of this ride in some kiosk or stand or something, they are missing out.
Black Forest cake is so good. I made that for Christmas one year. I should not have made that. Doesn't people expect it every year?
Unless I have.
Black Forest cake, it's black. It's like dark chocolate layer cake. And there's like this vanilla cream filling from each layer, and then on top I mean, it's like completely icing and everything. And then around the top, it's got like mountains, like little mounds of icing. And then in the middle is like Marciano cherries. And then you've got like chocolate bark that's like cut up and sprinkled around it.
No, I don't think I've had it then. I think I'm confusing it with like devil's food cake.
Probably. But if you look it up on the internet, you'll see it, because where I lived, like where I lived in Philly, there was a German bakery, and that's where I first got introduced to Black Forest cake. I mean, we're talking like this. How can I describe it? It's like the filling is like vanilla buttercream, I want to say. But it is the most decadent freaking cake, especially when they roll it out with like the presentation and everything, because you've got like the icing on the top and kind of like these cream peaks, and then the top is like literally just like an ocean of just like Marciano. I think it's like brandy cherries or something like that, and then cut up bark to, I guess, resemble the. Erica must have found a picture looking at her face. Girl.
After the second time, I thought I was gonna sneeze. It's weird. It's the dust out here. I'm not used to the desert. So yeah, the sneeze attacks are more frequent than what I'm used to.
I put a picture there if you want to share it, Lorena.
Oh yes, thank you. I will not apologize for this. But let's see. I need to move my stuff from the stage. That is Black Forest cake.
Oh, okay. No, I've never had that. Wow.
That is up there with red velvet cake. Just like you put it there. I'm sorry, I'm taking the whole freaking thing.
It's irresistible. Irresistible. So good.
Yeah, and it's funny because living in Germany, well, then again, it's not like we traveled extensively either. But I never saw Black Forest cake anywhere, at least in our region of Germany. Maybe it's more common somewhere else, but I never really saw it. Or maybe we did, and they just called it something different. I just didn't know what I was looking at because it was written in German.
You know, I've never seen this cake in Germany. I'm thinking that it's I'm gonna say like a German American thing. Because I was in Germany. I've never seen Black Forest cake.
No, those cherries are legit. It's not those jarred cherries. They're using real cherries.
Real cherries, like they're nice and moist, because that's the main feature of this cake. You have to have it. Some people put the cherries around the outside. Some people put like a pool in the middle of the cake with the cherries kind of swimming in it, and with you know the chocolate shavings on the top. But this is a presentation. You got to have cherries. You got to have the whipped cream on it. You got to have like the bark around the bottom. So yeah.
Now, can I? Because this was a Germany thing, which of course is where Snow White, was really. It's iconic, right? The Snow White in Germany. That's a whole part of it. Well, just to show you the Rachel Zegler version of this. So that's.
No, you didn't bring up Trey Let's
marshmallow on top. Is that a marshmallow topping?
I don't think so. It's just translation.
No, this is Trey Leche's cake.
Okay, never mind.
Which I cannot eat the traditional way that it's made.
Leches, believe it or not.
Let's go back to that.
Latinos will stab you in the neck to get the
it is everywhere out here. I went to this Latin supermarket. It's a chain called Ed Super, and they have this massive bakery. So I was like, well, let me see what kind of cakes they have, because I'm trying to find my Publix cake equivalent out here. Not happening, by the way. And I promise you, every effing cake, every single one was tres leches. All of them. I'm like, don't you guys just have vanilla with buttercream over here?
Nope. It's got to be the Tres Leches cake. Yeah, it's got to be that has to be it. And I had it. Well, first of all, if you're lactose intolerant, do not touch Tres Leches cake. I've made it, but I have had to make a lactose intolerant
Furry
version of it,
version.
which I actually liked. It was pretty. It turned out pretty. It turned out pretty good. But Tres Leches, I'm telling you, they snap up Tres Leches cakes like Floridians snap up key lime. Man, that's just,
I know, and it's just like normal. They walk in, they get a cake to go for whatever
Yeah.
occasion, just like we do in Florida. And I'm just like, and then my son, who I didn't know this, he's like, "Oh, I love tres leches." And I looked at him and I said, "When have you ever had a tres leches cake?" He's like, "Oh, well, when I was working at Power Zone, the Filipino ladies would bring it in. It was delicious. I loved it." I was like, "Oh, okay."
yes, this is Black Forest cake, which is absolutely delicious. Yeah, on my show, yeah, we do the food we call it
What
the
is it?
food segue because
What
yes,
is it you call it when you're live streaming from the parks? A disrespectful snack?
Dis-
Is that
yes,
what it
dis-
is?
that is such disrespect. Like, when you look at it,
You said that.
it's just like it's seducing me. It's not right. So not right. Oh, well, also let's see. They've got the Globe Theater in the England section of the park. I'm remembering this now. So they've got like iconic British cover bands and everything. So that's the UK section. Let's see, acrobats. Here's the drone show, which is nice. So they're going to be adding drone shows. Are so cool. If you've not seen one in person, they are awesome. So they're doing the drone show that's there. Synchronized to stirring music, which is like Busch Gardens, Tampa Bay's Wild Skies. So I haven't been there. So y'all have to tell me if you've been to the drone show at Busch Gardens, Tampa Bay. And then, of course, there's the free concert series. Who got Hoobastank, got Skillet, and Flow Rider is going to be there September 5th. That's
good stuff.
Yeah, he's oh my gosh.
They're still around too. There's
Skillet. Yeah, it's EDM, specific kind of EDM. It's not coming to me right now, but I know they did a joke about him on Annoying Orange.
Oh my gosh, I totally forgot about that annoying.
Remember that?
Yeah, my older son was all up on those videos when he was growing up.
Mm-hmm. My kid too. I'm like, oh my.
Is that kid still, or not really a kid anymore? But is he still around?
The videos are still around. They're not going anywhere. My nephew found out about it and made our lives miserable because that's all he wanted to do was like freaking annoying. It
was annoying, but back then it was like the big thing with
like you had to watch it. Yeah. Hey Andy, welcome. And let's see, Military Appreciation Week, June 29th through July 5th. So American expired food and beverages, limited edition merchandise. Of course, there's the 250th anniversary of the United States, 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. Two of my distant cousins actually signed it, and they pledged their fortunes and their sacred honor. And as Ben Franklin said, if we do not hang together, we shall surely hang separately.
Oh, yeah.
He actually said that. Yeah. Because it was true. It was treason. Very high treason. So very, very cool. Great stuff to look forward to if you are going to be in Williamsburg or going to visit the old country. Next, we're going to move over here to Texas because we do know that the Universal Kids Resort in Frisco, Texas is going to be opening very, very, very soon. So first Shrek ride in the United States opening at new Universal theme park. So this is courtesy of Attractions Magazine again. Shrek and Fiona's Happily Ogre After. The first Shrek ride in the U.S. will open at the new Universal Kids theme park near Dallas, Texas on July 1st. And that kind of sounds like the really, really, really rough 3D theater ride that they had at Universal. Did you guys ever no, it's called Shrek Forever After, I think is what it was called. at Universal. Do you guys ever go on that?
No, we have
The
not
ride
been.
of the movie.
It was a ride, and I don't even want to call it a ride. I want to call it like it was a simulator. Basically, you sat down in this theater, and the seats were. It's like a 4DX theater. I would say now.
Like a
I think
movie
I went.
theater,
Yeah, I
they
think
call
I
it.
did. Isn't that where
Yeah.
they put the stupid like shooter thing for the what is it? Not the Minions.
Yeah, that's where they put
Minions.
Minion Mayhem. Yeah, which is
Yeah.
true. I freaking love that darn thing. I'm not even gonna lie. Kids, the funny thing is seeing these little kids with the big heavy gun just shooting stuff. They don't care. It just you cause it as much mayhem as possible. It's hilarious. Shrek 4D, yes, I have. Yeah, it was a rough ride, but it was freaking fun. It was fun. The team
So
members.
they're building that at the kids park.
Yes, so this is going to be at the
Okay,
kids park, opening July 1st.
Awesome.
And in the land formerly named DreamWorks Shrek Swamp. And yes, if you have been to Universal Orlando over in DreamWorks land, Shrek Swamp is over there. I've live streamed a couple of times from over in that area. It's like a big, huge water play area. Kids can just run all over the place. It's absolutely great. So guests can take a ride on Shrek and Fiona's Happily Ogre After to hear how an ogre and a princess were enchanted by love. So it's going to be an outdoor ride. Guests in open air carriages. I'm guessing if it's true to the film, they're going to be riding in an onion. Because that's what they wrote in the movies. Remember that?
Yeah.
I think they were the onion, which was perfect. So, yep. So that's what's going to be. That's what it looks like. And Shrekland will also include Shrek's Swamp Splash and Smash, a playground built by Shrek for his triplets, as well as meet and greets with Shrek and Fiona. Okay, no donkey. Again, they have this over at DreamWorks Land at Universal Orlando. So that was basically, I guess, what you would call the dry run. So they're taking some of the elements from there, which is a really, really awesome concept. I hope you guys get the Shrek pretzel with the booger green cheese. Like we
Sure, I'm pretty confident that will be
Yeah, I'm
amazing.
sure. Yeah, of course.
If it's a staple, I think they'll bring it.
it is. It's sold out the first day. When I went, it was like a preview day for pass holders. Man, they sold out of them things right away. I'm like, dang it!
I hope the pretzels are better than the ones at Disney. You know, the ones at Disney nauseate me now. I don't know.
Really?
The pretzels?
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Like the last 2 visits, yeah, it's made me like kind of nauseous. I don't know why.
They
It's
may
weird.
have
I've
switched.
never done that before. I don't know if there's an ingredient they've changed or if it's just my stomach that's changed.
Well,
Yeah.
they. Okay, so
And it's
this
the
is
Mickey
what I.
pretzels.
This is
I
what
haven't
I
tried
know
the
that they do.
Oktoberfest ones. It's
Okay.
just the Mickey ones.
When
Mickey
you're
ones.
getting a Mickey pretzel at like a stand now,
Yeah, I mean, it's where we
they-
go.
they've been through a lot before they get there because they're like baked and then they're frozen and then they're transported and then they go to the kiosk and then they're reheated at the kiosk. It's a whole thing
Maybe that's
that
what it is. It's the
and it
reheating.
didn't used to be that way. They used to cook them like very close on site and then ship them over and they
You
don't
just keep them
they're not
warm.
they're not as
Yeah.
fresh anymore.
They're not, because I've had them and they're just like, although you get the pretzels over in Germany in the Epcot Pavilion, that's
They're sold out.
you go
Every
there.
time. They're
and-
so popular and they're
and I-
huge. They're like this.
Yeah, those are different.
They're
They look good
much-
because they have them like that in Germany. Like they have large
Mhm.
pretzels like that.
because in Philly, that's why the pretzels in Philly are such a big thing, because the pretzel was actually invented in Philadelphia by
Oh, wow.
German immigrants that came over
Yeah. Was it
during
like the Irish?
colonial America. And they're like,
I mean, what?
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah, they were
I mean,
they
it's like
were
the-
they were I forget exactly which one it was, which denomination it was, but the way that they have it folded, because I actually went on a trip, Girl Scouts, where we went to the pretzel factory and they were showing us how they did the how they get the dough
like
and
a
everything,
Christian connotation
and they
to it.
fold it over like this, which is supposed to resemble a child praying. So it's called, I think, a pretziola. which is what it was called. But
I
yeah,
have friends that make pretzels at home, and they incorporate that lesson into it's like home economics, but it's got like a Christian.
Yeah,
I got cool friends that do cute stuff like that with their kids.
I tell you, Philly people.
The best pretzel that I've ever had is not at Disney exactly. It's at Disney. It's Disney adjacent. It's at Frankie Farrell's Irish Pub, which is at the Lake Buena Vista Resort Village. You know where that big Walmart is on 535?
Yeah. The tourist Walmart.
Right, so it's right across from right across from that. It's
tourist Walmart, and I'm like, I can name like 3 of them.
Well, there's not the one on Turkey Lake, the one at 535.
No, not the one on Turkey Lake, not the one on the other side on 192, not the one at Kissimmee.
Yeah, I know. We all know them. It's so funny. But yeah, so that like Frankie Farrell's Irish Pub, we ate there for St. Patrick's Day, and they've got this pretzel that is. It comes with, it's like this big, like bigger, it's huge. It's like a 15-inch big pretzel. And it comes with, it's freshly made and freshly served. So you're getting it as fresh as it could possibly come, like right out of the oven. And then it comes with their homemade beer cheese, which is so good. It's like $12.
I love my pretzels with mustard. I'm not a fan of them with cheese, but I will do mustard. And it's got to be like a Dijon mustard, like one of those German mustards, because the German mustards are different than what we have in the U.S. They're not as harsh tasting with that heavy vinegar base.
Yeah, with the ground up mustard seed. I know exactly what you're talking about. That's the one that I like. It's like you can really taste the mustard. I think we called it like stone ground mustard. I think is what it was, and that's what I love too.
It basically is a different version of Grey Poupon.
Oh
yes, cool.
Yeah, is it low budget? Yes, it is. It is not. This is not. How would you put it? Think of it as like a Chuck E. Cheese version of Universal. It's for families, so they're not making it crazy expensive.
Have you seen the pricing for it? Because they've released the pricing.
I saw the pricing, so the pricing is actually pretty good. The thing that is going to really, really probably bother some people, and I understand why they did it. The hotels start at $300 and some odd dollars a night. Now, here is why, from what I read, they purposely wanted to make it that expensive so they do not have a replica of 192 outside of this park in Kissimmee. Now, because you have to remember with Disneyland, as soon as Walt put together Disneyland, all of a sudden, like up and down Catella and all this, these little, no-tell motels, scene of the crime hotels, tourist traps. It was just a mess. And that's why it's like, okay, when in my next park, I'm changing it so, it's a barrier to get in. So apparently, from what I understand, the city of Frisco, Texas basically said, you want to put this resort here. We don't need a repeat of what's happened at like other parks where they have this district and everything.
Is it that if an investor goes in to build like their own hotel down the road, they have to compete with that market price?
More than likely, yes. Or if there's hotels that are further away, they would also have to compete on price too. But like I say, like this hotel, I think it's like right here. This is the on-site hotel. It's crazily expensive for that reason.
What their offerings are though, and it's got park. I mean, you've got park entrance, I assume, because it's right there by the park.
Yeah.
So that you're paying, I guess.
You're paying for that, and it's also deterrent, kind of like how at Stella Nova Resort, it's $60, I think, a night to park. Was it 40 or something? I'm like, are you insane? But it's across the street from Epic Universe. So I'm like, okay, I get why you're doing it. But like I said, when I did my review, I heard how much that was. And I think when I went there, it was only, I think, $30 a night. And the team member was real apologetic, just like, because they didn't tell us how much it was going to cost to park there every freaking night. So for the hotel just opening, I think for that week, they let it go at like $30, but no, they jacked that sucker up to like 60 because you can literally walk from there.
Basically, park hopping. Is it to
pretty much
parking there for nothing?
Yeah.
Don't bring your Disney habits over here to Universal.
Hey, snort booger green cheese doesn't sound appetizing. It's not supposed to sound appetizing, but it's good. It's a gross little kid thing, but that's my mentality. I could totally jam with
for
that.
A 10-year-old boy, they'd be down for that. Like,
oh, yeah, totally. Booger green cheese. You know, they put the booger green cheese in, and then they also put the thing over it, Harold's Swamp Singers with the frogs, where you can spell out, you know, the Budweiser thing, little inside. Watch adults when they hear it, just like, no, they didn't put this in. They totally put it in there. BR guys, FYI, regarding the 250th, Miami is getting some touring documents, artifacts related to the founding towards the end of June, I believe. You know what? St. Augustine is probably getting stuff on that too, because Florida did not rebel against the crown. East Florida and West Florida did not rebel with anything. Actually, they were burning effigies of like Sam Adams, John Adams, George Washington. They were burning that like over in the I keep calling it the Plaza of the Constitution, but like where the market is in the square. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they were not happy. They were not happy about it. They tried, I think, they tried to get East Florida and West Florida to send a delegation to Philadelphia, and they were like, "Screw you, folks, we ain't doing that." And then British lost the war, and Spain basically said, "Okay, you don't have to go home, but you got to get out of here if you're not Catholic." Yeah, eventually I'll teach history class. But hey, Keely, good to see you back in Huntsville. Good to see you. Good to see you. They think it's Major League ballpark pricing. Yes, but they will do it. They will do it because financial, it is a deterrent, you know. Will it be woke? No. This is universal. They're about this money. Everything that's here is specifically geared towards young families to basically extract as much money out of their pocket. But when you get the value there, you're not really thinking, you know, about that. Like the Minions, they got Jurassic World Adventure, which probably has like little camp things where they bring out the little baby dinosaurs. Yeah, and they probably have like the egg pods and everything probably there. Puss in Boots Del Mar. That's just like Mama Luna's from Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. And they have it at Universal here. It is freaking funny. Oh, it's my gosh.
Like you bring your little kids, your family to this like kid park. And then as your kids grow, it entices you to want to go to the larger parks, either in California or Orlando. And I'm wondering, this has to be a test strategy, because if this is successful in that regard, they will probably build more small family parks like this around the US, possibly. Maybe.
I would 100% agree with you, because remember when DreamWorks Land opened, like over Universal, and I'm like, they have all these things, and it looks like it's a test, because when you go over there, especially if you have kids, it is literally where they can go run around, get soaked, burn off energy. There's even like a little part where if you want to be quiet, you got like little babies can't crawl. They even have these little pods you can put them in, and they just kind of sit there where the Trolls Land is. Water, where water gets dumped on them, or if you walk through another area that's kind of like padded, like water shoots on your feet, because that's themed to Kung Fu Panda. They've got the Kung Fu Panda training camp in the back, and it's literally all of these individual themed experiences. So that was the test bed, and then they brought it over here, which I thought they were going to do when they planned out the park and they announced it, which makes complete and total sense. But I agree with you, Erica. If this is popular, they can replicate it other places. And the fact that you don't have to go all the way to Orlando or to Hollywood, where there's one in like a metro area that's like this, you know, it's going to be.
And the fact that I love that Universal is not afraid to build in a state like Texas. Like they're not jaded with politics. They're just looking at what's going to work and how can we make money, you know?
Yes.
And sticking to places where it's warm climate all year round. And I guess business is good, you know, kind of tracking. Seems like red states offer really good incentives for businesses apparently in universal business. So yeah, it's I kind of wish Disney in some ways would have done this years ago. And they could have been ahead of the game, but they turned into a lazy sleeper sofa.
Yeah, exactly.
The competitor just kind of went, yeah, we're gonna take advantage of this while you're sleeping.
Yeah, it's like they're not paying attention. How can we be the biggest, just come up from behind? You know, this has been in motion for, I want to say, like over 15 to 20 years. It didn't just show up. Meg says here, even in Texas, even my 11-year-old is so excited about this. Heck yeah. Absolutely. Yes, it is. A Kung Fu Panda. It is so cool.
Do they got noodles? Do they have a noodle truck?
I think they have a noodle truck. Mr. Ping has something over there too.
Noodles.
The noodles.
Panda.
It's like noodle thing, and then they have like the Chinese laundry and the little panda bears like push over this big bucket, which is nothing but water that just comes over. Yeah, they have dryers and stuff like that. They have like, what is it? Like they have like the gong. You can go up there and hit it. It is so
I borrow
cool.
Someone's kids. Like anybody need a rent an aunt, you know, auntie, or rent a grandmother?
Wait, Nickelodeon is still part of Universal. Yes, they're not giving up that license.
Do you think they will ever revisit bringing back another like Nickelodeon land? I'm wondering.
I'm not sure. I don't think that they will, because the Nickelodeon is kind of like gone down. The strongest Nickelodeon property has got to be SpongeBob SquarePants, because that's just been around like for, it's been around for decades. I mean, recreating Bikini Bottom. I wonder if they're gonna have the Chum Bucket and the Krusty Krab.
That would be a cute kids water park idea, and theme it into SpongeBob.
True.
Do Bikini Bottom. That would be fun.
Would like that. Thank you, Tuber Chat. I sure do appreciate you sharing that on Reddit. Sig Tama is here. Says hello, beautiful people. Well, hello. Please do hit that like button. We sure would appreciate that. Make sure you're subscribed to us. On to some Universal news, which my engineer queuing brain has kind of figured out the reason why. But let's see. Coming to us from Universal Orlando fan. Go ahead and follow this blog. Universal removes Hagrid's motorbike adventure from Express Pass starting July 1st. Now, I don't know, Erica, have you been to Universal when Hagrid's opened?
We have not been since the first Harry Potter land first opened. That's how it's been. Yeah, so we are way out of the loop at Universal Parks, which is why I'm like dying to get there and do a Universal vacation, like more than Disney.
I hear you. This coaster, it had some problems when it first opened, and I think Iger was clowning it, and then Disney did Rise of the Resistance, which was really jacked up, and then they had to eat crow. But anyway, Hagrid's has consistently been popular. The Hagrid's coaster, it's my second favorite. Velocicoaster is always going to be my fave, but this one is second. Everything from the queue that you go through when you're going through the castle, They have like replicas of all things that are around. You can actually find one of the mermaid eggs from Goblet of Fire that's in there. You go through the castle. There's all these different sections that that you go through, and the queue is amazing from start to beginning. The whole coaster is great too. You've got like the motorcycle on one part and the mother-in-law seat on the other side, and yet so they it is really fun. It is a really good coaster. It's so good. People are willing to wait for like almost 3 hours in line, just like they're willing to wait for oh my gosh, Flight of Passage over in the Animal Kingdom. This is consistently a packed line ride. It's like if you go to Island of Adventure, you go in one of two places. You're either going to the Hagrid's coaster or you're going to the Velocicoaster, but you cannot do both. You have to pick one. And the line starts like really, really early. Express Pass, of course, that's an add-on that you buy. Unlike with the one that Disney consistently oversells without a limit, Express Pass has a limit to it. It's only a certain amount of express passes that are sold per day. Plus, you also have, if you stay in one of the deluxe resorts at Universal, you get access to the express lane for any ride for your party, as long as you have your hotel key with you. So let's read some more why I think I get why they're taking it from Express Pass, but let's see here. Universal Orlando is making a major change to one of its more popular attractions, and it's already getting a lot of attention from parks fans. Beginning July 1st, 2026, oh boy, Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure in Islands of Adventure will no longer be included in the Universal Express program. In a statement, Universal said, "We are implementing an operational update to Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure. Effective July 1st, the attraction will no longer be included in the Universal Express program, allowing us to improve the flow of the experience for all of our guests." If you spent any time watching wait times for Hagrid's over the past year, this may not come as a huge surprise. Since I didn't know they added it in May. Standby waits have been all over the place. The ride is already somewhat complicated to load with 2 different seating options and constant dispatch timing to manage. Yes, so when they're talking about 2 seating options, like if you're one person, I think you have to mainly be on the bike. If there's 2 people, one goes in the mother-in-law seat. I can't remember. I think Hagrid's has they have a single rider line as well. So of course they have to load that way. It's not like it's always 2 people, 2 people, 2 people. It's like it could be 2 people, it could be a party of 5. So you got one seat that's open and you have to pull from the stand, the single rider line to fill it. So while it's constantly moving around, that 2-seater configuration makes it harder to load, like say the 4-seater configuration that you have in Harry Potter and the Forbidden Forest, or that you also have in Monsters Unchained over in Epic Universe. That one loads a lot faster. For comparison, like with at Disney, Haunted Mansion can move so many people because there isn't like a seat configuration you have to jump over and get in. It's just like everybody just if you pay attention and you don't trip on the conveyor belt, that you can just slide right in there, 2 or 3 people, sometimes 4 people in there, and it keeps going. It's a people eater. But I didn't know that it was added to Express in 2025, because from what I remember when I've been on it, there never was an Express. There was a virtual queue at one time when it first opened, but after that, it was not on Express, and they specifically said you cannot get Hagrid's on the Express Pass. So you had long wait times, but it's not like there was an additional line to fill in, So they didn't have that.
I've only been on it once.
Yeah.
And I went in the single rider line
Mhm.
for it, and it still took it was at least 90 minutes. I mean, it's such a popular ride. And I do like it. I think I might like the Green Gots experience a little bit better. But they're all, I mean, the thing about Universal is I don't care which one of the rides you're going on, they're all such a great experience over there. That's what's so like it's hard to choose, and you kind of maybe you choose by the time length, but I mean the rides for the most part, the rides are better at Universal than they are at Disney.
Yeah,
But they work.
and
they're relevant.
they work, and the other thing, it's like I have to keep reminding people, a lot of those Imagineers Disney laid off.
Yeah,
they went to Universal.
They went to.
It's funny because these rides are going to be those nostalgia rides 20, 30 years down the road.
Yeah.
They're establishing now what Disney established back in Walt's era. And that's what Universal's trying to do. And they're trying to garner the family unit and that generational return of families.
Especially when it comes to the Harry Potter property, because the Harry Potter property at Universal is like how Star Wars used to be. You see generations of whole families there. My favorite thing, the homemade T-shirts with the same.
I'll tell you, it's so easy to tell if you go to Diagon Alley. And if you were able to do it the same day, like go to Diagon Alley and then go over to Hollywood Studios and go to Galaxy's Edge on the same day, you would notice, you would see it's such a difference. Like Diagon Alley is packed shoulder to shoulder. Almost, I can't think of a time that I've been in Diagon Alley it's not packed shoulder to shoulder. Every single time. You go to Galaxy's Edge and you're like, where the heck is everybody?
They're building that Harry Potter hotel in Germany at that Legoland. It's going to be a Lego. The concept art for it is insane. I'm waiting for Universal. If they're not already, got teams set up and in place, and maybe they're drawing up blueprints. But you want to talk about something that would just print the money? Build a Hogwarts resort hotel.
You know what's amazing to me?
It'd be game over. Forget the Magic Kingdom. Forget Cinderella's castle.
What's amazing to me is that Universal is I mean, yes, they had to do this they had to make this adjustment because the ride is so popular. That's like that. Like when you have a ride that's that popular that you have to make this adjustment. And they actually have to demonetize it, and they make that decision to actually make it better for all guests. Think about that. They demonetize.
Yeah, true.
Okay, so now it makes it better for all guests. So they're doing this. They're making improvements to their rides, improvements to their attractions, improvements to their parks, improvements to the areas. What's Disney doing? Adding more drinks to the menu. That's what they're doing.
All the cash wraps.
Everything's alcohol.
Everything has to be monetized and nickel and dime. And meantime, Universal's like, you know what? I think a happy customer and a comfortable, less stressed customer will actually spend more money on merch and food.
Yeah. And they'll come back and they'll tell all their friends and family about it.
And then they'll be the repeat offender. They'll keep coming back.
Yeah, exactly. And I always explain to people, it's like Potterheads are insane in a good way. It's like Star Wars fans used to be when, Star Wars weekends was happening every weekend in like May and June over at Hollywood Studios. Potterheads, it can be 100 degrees outside. They're still wearing robes.
I know, isn't that insane?
Oh, yeah.
They're wearing those robes, and those robes are heavy. They're well made. They are not cheap. They're lined. The stitching is really good. I mean, this is good quality costuming.
They actually might keep you cooler, though. I mean,
that's. I mean,
people that live in the desert, they do.
This way. I had to
But
blow it
in
up.
the desert,
I had to
because
blow it up. You guys can
oh my gosh,
see it. Like I've had this for like five or 6 years. It is heavy. Like something you would, that you would buy at the store. But if you're a Potter fan, you got to get your robe. You have to get your, scarf, your house scarf. You have to have the house gloves, the house hat. Oh, and don't mention, you have to get the wand. Okay. In addition to that, and any other like add-ons, like for example, I don't have it turned on because it's gonna freak the cat out. Okay, so like the shoulder pads, they do this so it is so good. People thought this was real because I was in the park, and because it'll interact with other ones too. And
these things
like,
are cool.
The fact that people didn't ask me how much it cost, they asked me where did you get it.
Yeah, they're willing to pay money for it because it's so freaking adorable.
Totally. I mean, if you go, people are like, well, how much in spending money should I bring? I'm like, conservatively, $1,000.
Yeah, I believe it. That's not including food.
No, it's not including food.
And me, I'd rather spend money on the food than on merch.
Especially some of those foods and drinks that they have,
No, that's like sweet treats. Oh, that is my Achilles heel of sweet treats. Oh my gosh. Especially
Butterbeer. I'm gonna tell you right now, the butterbeer carts, always a line.
Always a line. Long.
Always a line.
I wanted to address something the whole what Ron was saying with people wearing long sleeves in the desert. I can attest to that. Living in the desert now, we get this constant breeze, and because it's a dry heat, you can wear long sleeves and not sweat. It is the most ironic, weird thing I've ever experienced. I get it now with the dry heat. I'm like, I didn't understand it before because the only heat I've ever been exposed to was Georgia, Florida, and Okinawa, which is nothing but humidity.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm like, okay, I get it now. You guys are onto something.
Wow, you got stuck on the first drop at Gringotts. That was interesting. Gringotts, literally, it looks like right out of the movie when you go into Gringotts Bank with all of the goblins. It's insane.
It's almost eerie. Like it's so like the difference between it bothers me so much, mostly because I'm not a tremendous Harry Potter fan. I was much more before pre-Disney of a Star Wars fan, right? Unfortunately, Disney's like killed that, but which is so hard. When you love a story, an IP, something, and then like the entity takes over, you think that it's supposed to improve it, and then it kills the love of it for you. That's hard, man. But you go to Galaxy's Edge, and it doesn't feel like you're in Star Wars. It just doesn't. And that's so sad. It's like because you look at it, you say they spent the money. They spent the money to do something with it, and it's like a millionaire who didn't understand Star Wars says, well, I don't have a license to the IP, so I'm going to do something with it. That's what it feels like when you're there, like this horrible fan fiction land that's not real. But you go, Gringotts is like, I'm in the freaking movie. Like it feels like, and I'm like, I almost wish that I was more of a Harry Potter fan when I go there, because it's so visceral. It's so much fun. You really feel involved in it as a part of it. And you're like, what? Who was the dumb idiot at Disney who made the worst possible decision in the world to make Galaxy's Edge something that wasn't a part of any Star Wars movie? So dumb. Could not be more dumb if you tried. And it all got approved, and they spent money on it, and they paid for it. So it's like, oh, every time I'm in there, it's more sad than anything else.
And the sad thing is, it's like that wasn't the original direction. No. It was, the OG version was supposed to be the OG version. We were gonna, you go in Star Tours and Endor, you land, you come out. You're in Tatooine, and you were supposed to be able to go to Mos Eisley Cantina haggle with some Jawas, just all of that stuff that we were supposed to get, and they totally changed it. Gringotts in the queue at Battle at the Ministry. Oh my gosh, the Battle at the Ministry. That one, it's this is why they can have these long waits, because when you're in there, it looks exactly, like the movie. It looks, because you're just trying just like, oh my god, I can't believe this is exactly what it's like. It's like the same concept that you have for the Haunted Mansion.
Mm-hmm.
Where you're just like, oh, it's this. It feels like you're in this creepy, place that time forgot, seeing all kinds of things in the windows. Like, did I just see? Did I see that? The immersion is just absolutely amazing. But speaking of immersion, so I got two little Disney stories. I'm gonna go back, then we will talk about Carousel progress. But speaking of the Band-Aid that Eric and Ron were talking about,
that's one way to put it, a Band-Aid.
This is the biggest, how would I put it, penny wise and pound foolish, if you've ever heard that term before. Disney's Animal Kingdom dropping virtual queue for Bluey experience. Now, for folks who don't know, they put a Bluey experience in Conservation Station. I think. Have you guys been to the Conservation Station?
Oh yeah, that's one of my favorite places.
I live
animals
the
in
other
the vet
day.
center.
Wasn't it great? The train ride, it was, because the seats aren't facing forward, the seats are facing out. So it's like you're in bleachers,
like you're riding it's like you're going sideways.
Rafiki's Planet Watch. I think I'm getting the names mixed up. But yeah, you go and it's like you're on this train. You get to see like more animals that are out there, and then you get there to Conservation Station. And then you get to see all of these things about the animals. Like you were saying, Erica, like they were doing, if you go there early in the morning, they're like doing surgeries on animals. They're like wellness checks. You can talk to some of the cast members, like how they take care of the animals. It was very interactive and a fun experience, and kind of like a way of getting away from the crowd, So the crowds didn't used to be, but with Pandora, yes, now Animal Kingdom, is crowded, but it's also kind of like a nice breezy ride to kind of go get out of the. Although I will say, Animal Kingdom is the less overstimulating part, I would say, so to speak. So a lot of kids who are on the spectrum, they tend to like the Animal Kingdom better. And frankly, since they've gutted the Magic Kingdom, that's like the best example of Imagineering still left for right now.
Plus, it's the only park where you get to use the restroom with the wild animals if you're the one guy who then eventually gets kicked out.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, somebody decided to jump out of a vehicle, and come into our safaris, and go take a whiz in bushes.
Yeah, I heard he was not an American. I heard he was European. European.
Who knew that we were the answer?
So I have a question about this headline. Just because of the way the headline reads, I'm assuming that the headline means that the virtual queue is still in place, because it's weird. The particular headline kind of reads like they dropped, like they had the virtual queue and they dropped it. But I'm assuming what they mean is that they're actually implementing the virtual queue. Is that what the headline means?
No, actually, there was a virtual queue. Are
they getting rid of it?
They're getting rid of it right away, which tells me.
Oh, okay.
And I knew this was the thing. It's kind of like the background. They had a virtual queue, and I think they did it because I think they had it like over. I think it was over in Disneyland. I think it was Disneyland. They tried to do it. I'm trying to remember, and it was crazy trying to get in. So They started with a virtual queue that started where you boarded the train. Like you had to have a virtual queue reservation before you could board the train to take you to Conservation Station. Well, apparently they're dropping it. And the only reason that I can see why they are dropping it is because demand is not as heavy as they thought that it was going to be. And there's a couple reasons for that. Having the Bluey experience, it's like a one-off. It's like something to do to keep the kids entertained, because there was nothing going on over at Conservation Station really at all. It was a ghost town. You put Bluey in, which Disney does not own.
No.
Disney does not own Bluey. They do not own Bluey. They get it licensed from the BBC. And for the longest time, I've said, if they want to stay current, they need to put Bluey in, not focus on Monsters, Inc. or something like that. Also, you have to take a train from Rafiki's Planet Watch, where the station is, all the way to Conservation Station. Depending on how much your little ones feel like doing that, can decide, whether you want to go or not, especially when it's hot as I don't know what, outside, to just go see Bluey, and that's it. It's not a full-on attraction. It's basically a show.
Yeah. So I was there Thursday. Yeah, Thursday. I went Thursday. I think Erica saw it, tried to live stream it. The Wi-Fi signal's not great from there. So, and I was using StreamYard and it wasn't showing up well, but I experienced it. And the hardest part for me with this is, of course, the Conservation Station was what I love to call the hidden secret, right? It's one of those places that if you know, and you go and you really enjoy it, the train ride, you're right. The petting zoo is gone, but I kind of like what they're doing. Now, there's only kangaroos and wallabies, and I wish that there were more animals over there. They didn't have it completely open yet. You could go in the first section where you would wash your hands, but they didn't have the gate open to the rest of it. So here's what the cast member explained to me the experience will be like. You're not supposed to touch the animals because, well, they're kangaroos and wallabies. They could kick you. It could be dangerous. I'm a little worried about this part, but you actually are in the space with the kangaroos and wallabies, and they have like a pathway. So you have to start and you have to stay along the pathway. You can't venture off the pathway. I don't know how they're going to monitor this to make sure that people are not, that they're staying on the pathway. But they said, think of it like being on the safari, where if a kangaroo or wallaby, gets in front of you, you stop, you wait for it, and then you proceed on, and you're in their space and you'll be able to watch them and look at them. They haven't opened that yet because they said that the animals are currently acclimating to the space. They just moved them over there like a week ago. They said they probably need a few weeks to really acclimate before we get guests in here. And of course, then you're going to have these animals that are going to be acclimating, with the guests. Now, here's the good thing. Apparently, before, when they had the petting zoo, you could not enter in a wheelchair or an ECV or stroller or anything like that. This experience, if you have any of those types of devices, you will be able to go along the pathway on your ECV, in your wheelchair or in a stroller. And while you won't be able to feed the animals or pet the animals, they'll still be right there, and you'll be able to get very up close with the kangaroos and wallabies. So that will be interesting. Of course, those animals are replacing a lot of goats, and a couple cows, and what do they have? Donkeys back there. They had a few other. So if you're in Orlando and you want to go to a traditional petting zoo, Gatorland is going to be your only option now, I think.
Yeah, I will warn you though. The animals in the petting zoo at Gatorland are pretty freaking gangster. Okay. They know you have food, they will come.
Oh my God,
right
they so are. And they have a big llama over there.
Llama. They got a pissed off ostrich. It's mad because they can't leave. Of course, they've got like the
they got the emus over there too. Yeah,
the emus. They've got the goats of all sizes. I think they have like one or two calves at there. They've got like, you know, a turtle that's older than God and just does not care unless you have food for them. But it's fun. But yeah, I miss the petting zoo up at conservation station. Hey, Tom.
And also for the record, and I hate this is my least favorite part of the news. Koalas will not be part of the experience ever because of the Australian government's protection of koalas. And because I got into a pretty long conversation with several cast members about that, and they're like, yeah, they're like, unless Australia changes things, it's not going to be, and they're not going to be able to get them over here because koalas are so protected by Australia. But the Komodo dragon is still in its little space over there, and the conservation station is still operating. I saw at least 2, maybe 3 different animals being worked on while I was there. There was a tiny little hedgehog-looking creature thing that's not actually a hedgehog, and something else. And it was weird because you've got all that going on behind this Bluey experience that I could care less about, but I'm going to watch it. And there was a ton of people. And it's like a little show. They see the little performer over on the right with the blue pants and the yellow shirt. I want to say there's like 3 performers, and then you've got Bluey and Bingo, and they're out there, and you kind of, it's not a meet and greet. You walk by, you take a selfie with them as you're walking by, or you get the best picture you can while they're doing the show or whatever. But it's not like a traditional going up to them and meeting them, at least not right now. But if the popularity wanes, it could change. Now, it looked popular on the days I was there because you had to have that virtual queue, which and it was, I think another reason they're dropping it is it's chaotic. It's like hard, like how are you managing this virtual queue when like some people don't even want to go to see Bluey and Bingo? They're like me. I want to see what's going on. What's up at the conservation station?
Yeah, exactly.
And I honestly think that the initial reason for the virtual queue wasn't even to manage the line. I think they wanted to see if they could monetize it into a lightning lane.
Oh, heck yeah. I would not put it past them to do that because of, well, one, because Disney monetized everything. They monetize you trying to breathe there if they could. But because
I can see that.
Hey, before you inhale again, hey, but this is like an IP that they do not have to work at. It's an IP that, you know, crazy, insanely popular. So yeah, they're probably like, let's see what we can do with this. But in the end, and I want to say, looking at these performers, I swear this is almost like the darn show in DreamWorks Land. The one where you go, it's like this like, it's like a show, and it's like it's on a stage and everything, and they have performers that come out. The performers are awesome, and they have like all the characters and the outfits and everything. It seems like a little rip-off version of that, but this isn't something that people are actively going to go and try to seek out and see. I really don't see this, especially considering it's a conservation station. It's not like it's at the Tree of Life. Do you know what I mean? I mean, I'm thinking, okay, if I'm in the park with kids that, you know, that like Bluey, you're talking probably like toddler to, I don't know, toddler probably to like grades 1 or 2 or something like that. If you have all these kids with you and it's hot, what do you mean to tell me I have to pack everybody onto a train, go all the way out there? Somebody's got to pee, somebody's got a blowout, somebody's having a meltdown just so they can go and take them to see Bluey. That's too much logistics involved to do that if you've got, you know, kids with you. So I would think if they were going to make it friendlier, y'all should just had a tree of life. Kind of like how when you bring Kevin out, which is really cool. Kevin from Up. Don't just like bring him out and he comes out.
He's a funny character.
I love him.
I have seen him more places, or her. Sorry, Kevin. Kevin's a her. I have seen Kevin in more places than any other character at Animal Kingdom, because Kevin the other day was in front of construction walls where Encanto is about to go, where Tropical Americas is going. By the way, I don't know, Lorena, have you been out to Animal Kingdom lately and seen that building?
I have not.
Huge. It is so. I could not believe how big. Whatever the heck they're doing for Encanto, that is a huge ride building. I mean, it is.
I can tell you exactly what that is. And again, I wound up speaking this into existence when they were talking about bringing Encanto over to Animal Kingdom. People were debating about it. I said the one thing that I can see that would work was if they did an Encanto ride, but it was centered around the character Antonio, because he can speak to animals. So I'm like, okay, you do that, that's going to work. Good. That's what they're doing, a dark ride where you go along when Antonio, has his gifting day, where he gets his gift where he can talk to animals and stuff like that. So yeah, that's an inside dark ride. I'm wondering
though, if the building is that large, also maybe it's because the vast majority of the queue line will be indoors and it'll be air conditioned.
I agree. Nice. Probably like again, like Flight of Passage.
Yeah, like you're walking like to the casita and you get to witness all the little embellish of the house, the enchantedness of the house, like moving and doing all kinds of cutesy stuff.
Things that light up and the interactive elements. Yeah, exactly. Just like like with Flight of Passage, that's mainly indoors. That boring ass boat ride, that's also it is.
I feel like I'm the only one who actually likes that little Naughty River boat ride.
I like my wife loves it. It's very dark and it's very
I don't like that it's short. It is too short. Yeah, what I love about it, I love the staging elements, and I like to go through it just to nitpick and study how I can apply those staging elements to my Halloween setup. That's basically why I write it.
It totally is, and I get it. It's like the queue is amazing. Again, it's an amazing queue. First of all, the only reason Pandora is so amazing is because oh my gosh, I'm blanking on it.
Flight of Passage?
No. Oh my gosh, the guy who does the Avatar movie. No.
James Cameron.
Cameron. Strict creative control, just like J.K. Rowling.
Oh yeah.
That's the reason why also you also had an Imagineer who actually had respect for that, and that was Joe Rohde. I can't stand his politics, but the man is a hell of an Imagineer. So together, that's why they came up with that, and that's why it's so good.
I hired Joe Rohde to design my backyard.
Yeah, I have a single
I just want
complaint
a cute oasis
about Pandora, though. If there was some way that they could have added a slight hydraulic element to what they call the floating mountains, so they had some slight movement up and down or back and forth and actually look like they're floating, that would have helped, because they do not look like floating mountains. It's a cool scene, but they don't look anything like floating mountains.
Yeah, exactly, Dan. When they started cutting back the night hours, that was such a disservice, because to go over there at night in Pandora with the bioluminescence, it is so gorgeous. You don't even feel like you're on Earth, honestly.
And that's the floors glow. Like, and you see the little patterns, like the animal prints, or the alien, whatever, whatever weird creatures they have in Pandora, and they like illuminate on the ground.
And it looks.
I would rent that part of the park out for like a party if I had that kind of money to just throw around. You know what I mean?
I agree. I don't see a wellspring of Encanto fandom out in the wild. Because there isn't. It's not. It's a Band-Aid.
It's not huge. It's not. I have a guess though. I think there's probably an Encanto 2 in development right now, and that you're probably going to see the release of Encanto 2 at the same time as this, or very close to the time that this attraction opens, because otherwise, what would be the point? Encanto is definitely like it had a theatrical release, but it was like during the lockdown era, right? Like, so it wasn't,
I can't remember.
didn't do very well. It became popular on Disney Plus.
I think it was just after lockdowns. Because when we went to Disney at that point, we went with my son, and at that point, the soundtrack was just all the hype. Like, you don't, the Bruno song was just everywhere, even on secular radio, they were playing it. And the characters were popular for a time. But, you know, Disney's, this is the issue with Disney as a whole. They're not really creating timeless stories. They're pushing out what I call assembly line animated features. And it's just boom, 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 boom. And they're not really taking their time to maybe release more slowly, so they can be focused more on the quality and the hand-me-down, the generational aspect. I think Encanto had a lot of potential, including Coco. The problem is that you put these two really good movies in the mix of your assembly line animated features with, you know, all the other stuff that's they're throwing out there, and these good movies are getting a bad rap along with the really bad movies they're putting out. And it just becomes, I guess, convoluted to the audience. I feel like everyone's just kind of like, no, you know,
because there isn't any like leadership. And I'll leave with this one. Coco was the last Pixar film that John Lasseter had his hands on.
I know, and it was a good one. I like
it. Was
favorite is Coco.
So good. I was crying at the end because the grandma actually looked like my great grandma, even down to like
you too. It was me too. And girl, me too. I was like, I cried too, because she reminded me of my great grandmother, who I had a relationship with. Her mannerisms, the way the sweetness of her kids, she was so much like my great grandmother. I literally cried because the other abuela captured my stubborn abuela pretty well. With the controllingness and the rudeness and the crassiness. Basically, my great grandmother's her daughter, my grandmother. I was like, dang, Disney actually hit on both mi abuelas.
Did you flinch when she hauled out the shoe? I was like, I did. Good. Oh gosh, Coco was such an awesome movie. They actually, going back to, before I go back, 120 of you folks watching. I should appreciate that. Going on with the and we're leading up to this. I have to build the case. I'm doing this on purpose. So here's some Save the Magic. In case you haven't had a chance to read my other post, here's a prime example of what I'm talking about. Once the new is done, they go for the dopamine hit. It's like they don't care about the nods, theme, or anything. Once the newness wears off, this is where they are. Now, this is the rock and roller coaster. No one is looking at the pre-show here. And what's so devastating is, compare this, and I think I said this when I replied, compare this to Muppet Vision 3D, okay? People weren't really rushing to get into the theater because everybody was watching the pre-show. Yeah. Between the pre-show, between the sight gags that were there, literally they would have to tell people, please move into the theater. You would have cast members who would have to literally say that because everybody wants to look at the psych eggs. Everybody wants to watch the pre-show. The pre-show is one of the freaking funniest things ever, especially Rizzo the rat pretending he's Mickey Mouse.
Oh my gosh, that's
$20.
always a funny gag.
It's freaking hysterical. Even when they had the Muppet Haunted Mansion movie, they put that in like during Halloween.
Yeah.
So they had that.
I need to rewatch that. It was so cute. So freaking adorable.
It was so funny. And regardless of, you know, what age you were, little kid, physical comedy will never not be funny. Gonzo putting on the 3D glasses and, you know, and walking into stuff. Like, I just wanted to show people what it'd be like. And Sam's like, will you quit that foolishness? What kind of foolishness would you like to see? Hey, MJ. Yeah, I mean, exactly. People lose it when that part happens because Sam was like, oh, yes, we have a special guest. We have a special guest. Oh, really? I'm like, he felt that. How you doing? Welcome to my part.
The worst part of this is there's literally, if you've been on the ride and you understand how the queue works, there's literally no reason to rush from the pre-show area to the next area. It's pointless. It's completely pointless. I've actually had the opportunity to go on this twice in the Muppet iteration, which is really very, very cool. Now, the first time I went on it was with my family, and I got lucky enough to actually be next to the glass for the pre-show, so I was right up front. And then the next time I was way hanging in the back, and it does kind of suck because you can't really tell when you're like maybe in the third row back of people or more, you can't hardly tell what's going on in the pre-show. It's difficult to tell. When you're right up front, there's a lot to see. It's pretty cool, and I've got it all on film, so I got really good shot of that. But there's, you know, I mean, it's fun because there are different the pre-show changes a little bit. There's like slightly different things that happen, just like little different characters that might come on the screen each time. It's and I thought they did an excellent job. When I watched it, I went, okay, I think I get why they went with like the Muppets and not Powerline, because first of all, putting any new band in there would have been the same thing as Aerosmith. It would have aged out eventually. That's what happened with Aerosmith. The Muppets, that doesn't have to age out because they can change out the songs every now and again, right? So they can just, okay, well, we've got this song now, but we'll change that later. I got Kelly Clarkson Walking on Sunshine the first time, and then I got the Def Leppard song the second time. And it's, by the way, it's pretty wild how different the experiences are, because with Aerosmith, all the tunes were very similar because they're Aerosmith songs. These songs were like super different, so it was a very different experience. The other thing about the whole Rock and Roller Coaster experience that I found an improvement now, and I think Lorena, you probably both know what I'm talking about. You lived in LA. Lorena lived in LA, so she kind of knows this. You know what the streets were like there. First of all, you are never moving fast in LA.
No.
You're actually moving really slow, so it's kind of funny.
Unless
that you get
it's raining, because people are punks and they can't drive in the rain.
Well, on the Aerosmith version, you kind of wonder, so why did all of this kind of turn into like cartoon versions of the street signs and stuff? But those elements actually, now they really make sense that it's part of the Muppets. Like you're like, oh, okay, it actually flows better. Here's my hope. This is what worries me about this, is that if people are not interested in the pre-show, I hope Disney doesn't get the wrong idea and think, oh my gosh, maybe people aren't that interested in the Muppets, because I want Disney to go, hey, we maybe can bring back Muppet Vision 3D and put it in that crappy where the villains show that's awful is. Have you seen that villain show?
Unfortunately, yes.
Good Lord, that thing is, it's like, it is. I have never seen Disney cheap out on entertainment so much. I mean, how cheap was that? Like that had to be like, hey guys, how much can we slash the budget and make this look like something that happens at a birthday party at a kid's house?
I have seen way better performance from halfway working animatronics at Chuck E. Cheese.
Oh my god!
And that's almost like an insult because everybody loves it when the animatronics malfunction at Chuck E. Cheese.
It's pretty entertaining.
Between that villain show and the Encanto thing at Epcot, which I'm like, when I go watch the Encanto show thing at Epcot, it has a few people that view it, but first of all, it's outdoors. You don't want to like, who wants to watch a show when it's 100 degrees heat outside? Second thing is, it looks like a really cheaply produced show. It looks like old, really bad Six Flags shows, but like even worse, because I was in a Six Flags show that had way higher production budget, and that was 1992. And as somebody who comes from that entertainment world, from the music theater world, I'm like, this is supposed to be Disney. And it's so, I mean, when you look at how the Lion King, for example, the Festival of the Lion King show, or the Nemo, the musical, shows with real production value. Now, the show that you can tell that they started to go down in the production value, but it's still kind of halfway there and it's enough to be entertaining for the audience, is the Frozen show, the Frozen sing-along show at Hollywood Studios. It has a low, that's the first one where you went, you know what? I bet somebody thought, well, hey, people like this, and we can still get away with a lower production value, because it is. What do they have, like 2 main live performers, and then Elsa comes out at the end?
And then she comes out, and then usually around Christmas they'll bring Olaf out. And the funny thing is, that show started off as a one-off. I remember it was like it wasn't at the, I don't think it was at the studios at the time. It was somewhere else. But it was like, hey, we have this new show. The production value for that show was actually really, really good with the effects and everything. But once they moved it over to the studios and it became a permanent resident type of performance, it was kind of like, I remember when it was better. I mean, it's definitely better than the Beauty and the Beast sing along. That's a freaking ripoff.
I don't like that one.
No, yes.
We sat through that and I was like, never again. I'm not doing it. I hated it.
It was so bad. It was so bad. I would tell you, because you know the first song, right? First of all, they brought LeFou, and I could care less about him. But they start out, of course, the Good Morning song, where Belle goes through the village and she's singing, and me and all the rest of the kids were like, we are ready to belt this song out, right? We didn't even get the whole song.
No, they didn't. They cut it short, and it's like that with all the songs.
I'm looking at the kids like, am I crazy?
I heard whispers in the theater of like kids and adults being like, "Well, that's not the whole song." Everyone was expecting all the songs in their entire length, or at least the songs that they picked, and they were literally short versions. It's like they were trying to cram all the Beauty and the Beast soundtrack into this like 20-minute thing. And I didn't like it. I think what they should have done was just update the France video from the 80s. Where it showcases
Impressions de France.
And I think they just honestly go back to France, do new 4K, 8K, whatever, 10K, 100K, I don't care, updated footage, and put it back out there on what France has to offer, culturally.
They were supposed to give us an updated China video, and I don't know. It was like
I never saw it. We went there to go see it, and all we got was the old video that I grew up with, and I'm like,
that hasn't happened.
I'm like,
the updated Canada video is horrific because they got 2 of the funniest comedians ever out of Canada, and they don't tell a single joke during the show. One of them, of course, unfortunately, she passed away. What was it, earlier this year, I think, but yeah, like the Martin Short one was much better because it had some humor to it, and you're like, you got 2 of the absolutely freaking funniest. I was looking forward to it because the first time I saw that Canada show, I was like, oh, this is going to be so good. And they just narrate a boring script. And I'm like, you got two of the best comedians in Canada's history ever, and you've got a boring script about it was just dumb. It was really, really dumb. You got to have some levity in those shows. And all of those
away from that at Epcot. They've gotten
they
away
don't know how
from
to
the
do
culture.
it.
They don't.
People.
They've gotten away from cultural reference. It's no longer just traveling around the world, in 80 days. That's kind of a side joke.
It's about drinking around the world. And about
with IPs.
How
and let's slap IPs
you.
wherever we can in each pavilion. Let's force theme each pavilion when it's not really needed. And if you wanted to do some theming, I mean, you could do it in an understated way that doesn't distract from the cultural relevance of that pavilion. It's irritating.
Case in point. Okay, the CCP pavilion. There's a reason I call it
I laugh every time you say that.
Pavilion. It is the CCP pavilion. And interesting, when Trump went over to China, okay, President Xi took him to the Temple of Heaven, which hardly any dignitary has ever been in. That's like one of the most sacred sites, in China. Mm-hmm. The replica of the Temple of Heaven, I didn't notice, and I'd been going in it repeatedly year after year. There was a replica of the Temple of Heaven at the CCP Pavilion. Okay, when you go in there, that's where they have the 360 circle vision film that has not been updated, probably because the CCP hasn't approved it yet. But when you go in there, you would think that you will be able to see more cultural artifacts. I mean, it's beautifully reproduced. If you go in there and you look up, you can see why exactly it's called Temple of Heaven. But why is it they have a big, huge section advertising Hong Kong Disneyland or Shanghai Disneyland and the cast member outfits? I mean, that's not what I would expect to see. It's like, what? Okay, I can see there's cultural touches to the cast member outfits, but for real, so you got an advertisement to go to Hong Kong Disneyland or Shanghai Disneyland. Hong Kong Disneyland I would go to. Shanghai Disneyland, I heard, has a issue with people public defecation. Anyway, wait, they have the Terracotta Army? Oh, that is sacrilege. That the Terracotta Army, I don't know if you guys have ever heard about it. It's amazing. There was this tomb, I guess some farmer in China stumbled on it maybe 20 years ago, and underneath all the earth, they had to unearth it. They had all these terracotta warriors. It was like a reproduction of like a military campaign, and neither one was the same. Like there were subtle differences, and it looked like this huge battle, including, like horses, chariots, all of this stuff that, that was uncovered. And they actually had the exhibit that toured the US. I got to see it at the Franklin Institute. But that was like a huge cultural thing, the Terracotta Army, because of what it looked like, because of its cultural significance to China, and that it was literally like nothing else. It was nothing else. It was awesome. Yes, in the Shanghai room before that they had, exactly. They had all these cultural touches that you get there and you get to learn something culturally. Now they just got advertisement for Shanghai Disneyland. But speaking of lack of progress, I just don't with this. So apparently this is straight from Disney parks. We're going straight from the horse's mouth here on X. Walt Disney's Carousel of Progress is headed towards a great, big, beautiful tomorrow. You'll get to see John, Sarah, and the whole family experience new decades when the attraction is updated at Disney World in 2027. Now, guess when the current Carousel of Progress ceases operation?
Say that again?
I'll give you one guess. When is the last day to experience a carousel of progress before they shut it
Isn't it
down?
like 4th of July?
July 5th.
Or the day after.
Same thing they did with Rivers of America. That right after the 4th of July, which for some folks who don't know, for a lot of people, I know for me and my family, one of the most American things to do was to go to Disney World for the 4th of July because it used to be just insane. Like America, heck yeah, not anymore really. But that's when a lot of people went and it was like huge. So you wait until the 4th of July, crowds leave. Yeah, Dan, a lot of people had their passes blocked out. And I forget which live stream it did, because I did one where I actually went on the last boat ride around on the Liberty Bell, which was really, really freaking sad. But they blocked out a lot of pass holders from being able to go.
They want you to pay to go. And then they want to rev up the crowds for the 4th of July weekends.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because
they know that's historically the most highest. I want to say there's Christmas is the biggest, then there's 4th of July, and then Easter.
But their attendance is tanked since like 2023 on the 4th of July. So they're trying to force the numbers to go up again. So how other way would you do that?
Yeah,
it's exactly. Disgusting in my opinion. I hate that kind of public and customer manipulation.
It's just it's a mess. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go through Disney's announcement, because we'll just go through the source, because there's a reason that it's on the Disney Parks blog. There's a reason that's just a spin on it, and there's a reason why they didn't wait to introduce this at D23. Which I believe is in Destiny. I think it's in Orlando this year.
Yeah, they don't want to get booed off the stage. They know what's coming. They don't want to face the reality of it.
They know. So here's a great big beautiful tomorrow, the ever-changing carousel of progress. Well, ever-changing, okay, no. Carousel of progress, emphasis on the word progress. With the carousel of progress, you start off with what has to be the biggest explosion in human productivity, which was the Industrial Revolution. And we're still benefiting from that today. So with the Industrial Revolution being able to improve people's lives, that's why with the first scene where you start out, and it's like, thankful we have this fridge, we got this fan, and they basically had a brownout the entire time for the end of change of fuses. But it was, hey, all this technological development, wow, we've come a long way, and if each succeeding scene, it built on what came, before that. You went from, I think, like turn of the century, you went from there to, I think, like the 1940s, it's 4th of July, it was the 30s or 40s, and then you were like the 1950s, and then you went to, quote unquote modern day, which is really, really outdated. But each scene built on the American spirit of innovation, the American family, and pride, and not only just pride in being American, but having that American optimism toward the future. That was the carousel of progress. Yeah. That's the whole thing of that, where, you go in and you're like, yeah, I got this iPhone, and then whatever. Oh, wow, people really had it messed up really back then. Like, okay, the electricity that I take for granted, wasn't really easy to come by before. So going down here, there's a great big beautiful tomorrow on the way for Walt Disney's Carousel of Progress. For the last 60 years, this passion project of Walt himself has served as a powerful reflection of optimism, innovation, and family over time. I'm going to add that in the Carousel of Progress, in the in the script, he'll say, Walt Disney loved America and he loved the American family.
Yep. Watch me change the script.
Yeah, interesting how that's not there. It only makes no sense, but keep reading here. Yet while the themes have always stayed the same, most performed stage show in history of the American theater has taken several forms over the years. I don't know about several forms. I know that last scene always changed, but the other three scenes were always the same. So before we talk about what's next, let's take a look back at its evolution. Okay, this is interesting. Let's see, all the way back to 1950s, expanding Disneyland, extension of Main Street, USA, called Edison Square. Well, okay, yeah, so they talk about all this, but you had the New York World's Fair, and they came up with the Carousel of Progress. And also what made it innovative is that the audience rotated around the stage. So that was also a cool thing. You're sitting there and it just goes around, around, around. Sometimes the cast members would joke about putting your seatbelt on. And we're looking around here, it's just like, look, sometimes it gets really boring over here to do that. But it was a very innovative concept. And of course, the anthem written by, the Sherman Brothers. I know because I always get freaking claimed every time I go in there because the Sherman Brothers soundtrack. But, they go through there. Walt brought Disneyland. And then, who would have known this become a sign of things to come as a Carousel of Progress made its way to Walt Disney World in 1975. Magic Kingdom's attraction has continued to evolve through new scripts, voice actors, and time periods, even full scene updates. I don't know about that. Maybe it's because I was too young, but I do not remember. They may have changed the voicing a little bit, but I do not remember those first three scenes ever changing. The last scene. Yeah, thank you. I thought,
I have seen Carousel of Progress. I saw it first when I was about 5 years old. I saw it again several times in the 1980s, the early 2000s. I only remember the last scene changing, and the last scene, the only update they made to the last scene was like some clothing, I think, recently.
Yeah,
but the last scene's been about the same since the 1990s.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you just had some, they updated. I think the biggest update was when they upgraded the Christmas lights, which I thought was pretty cool. You can see the Mickey Nutcracker if you look,
that was
back.
I loved seeing that.
And that cool. It's like it was, for Christmas. And then of course they had the dog, they had grandma. Then of course they updated it with, they updated the the kitchen. And then you also had the big, huge, flat screen TV, that was there as well with the VR stuff like that. But that last scene was always relevant to modern day. But all the others were kept the same for the reason of you get to see the progress that happened around. And let's see, because the BR guy said something really good. So the show is about major technological changes from the intimate perspective of an everyday American family. The moon landing was cool, but it didn't change everyday life, nor did 1985, nor 1999. And we're going to get into that because with my experience reading about, Reimagining Tomorrow, which is something that I've gotten a hold of and have been That's been out there for a while with Reimagining Tomorrow. Eventually, they took it off of Disney's site.
Okay, let's be honest. Come on, the 1999 scene could get really, really interesting with the dad. Think about it, right? He's there. He's like, well, for several years now, we've had this newfangled thing called the internet, and well, sometimes that keeps me locked up in my private space for several hours at a time. I won't say what I'm doing, but I've pretty much ignored the 4th of July and the Christmas and all the other things that I used to pay attention
to. Don't give him any ideas,
And I don't know what the dog is doing. Have we seen the dog?
Oh my gosh! Oh my goodness! Well, anyway.
Oh my gosh! It's really what are these scenes going to be? It's gonna get
Wow. Oh yeah. Dan. That they're not bringing that back.
4th of July when the family's getting ready to go to the parade. It's very patriotic, and
yes,
in that particular scene, I expect we're not going to have. That's not going to be referenced. So there's not going to be 0 Independence Day 4th of July references at all in the new update. It's just going to be the moon landing, and then what? The internet. That's it.
The moon landing. Y2K. Something else, but we'll go through and look at it.
Crazy significant about Y2K. It was just, it was the turn of the century, yeah. But in terms of all this, pioneering technological advances, the internet was already there. What came along? The cell phone? The improvement of the cell phone. The cell phone had already been invented. It was just improving what was already there.
Yes, exactly.
It's just irritating how they're not. I don't like how they are just erasing history, referencing, going from horse and buggy to train travel evolving into the automobile, and then the automobile, then we get into aircrafts, flying. They're going to eliminate all that for what? Because we landed on the freaking moon, which, by the way, is already showcased at Epcot in Spaceship Earth.
Yes.
So you're just adding the same scene, a different version of the same scene in another attraction in another park. It's just redundancy at that point.
Absolutely. Let's see here. So as you can see, Carousel of Progress was designed to celebrate change, not stand still. Okay, you guys remember a certain campaign you kept hearing change?
Hope.
Someone in a certain campaign posted, hope be changey. Change. We need change, not progress. We need change. Okay, they're not putting this wording out here just to put this wording out here. Okay. Yeah, it's not to celebrate. Change, not to stand still. It was progress, not to stand still. Change is easy. Progress is way harder to obtain. So, as Imagineers from the Gensler School of Imagineering, we now have the great responsibility of keeping Walt's ideas and innovations and forward-looking spirit alive as we continue to building the attraction's future together. So where are we heading? Nowhere. All right. So, of course, guests will be able to see Frank and Walt Disney over at Disneyland. Oh, my gosh. This was nuts. So, yeah, they're going to put Walt Disney himself in Carousel Progress, made possible through audio animatronics, and in a scene inspired by the 1964 special Disneyland Goes to the World's Fair, where he introduced the idea of the Carousel of Progress and shared his enduring belief in the power of progress to shape a better tomorrow. Well, that's in the pre-show for the original Carousel of Progress right now. So before they shut it down, when you go look up, there's a pre-show where Walt Disney is talking all about that. So the team is having fun sourcing and replicating the props. Yeah. The next era for our American family and their loyal dogs. So let's see. One of our main goals was to keep the attraction relatable to today's audiences by featuring eras in which our guests have personal connections. That includes the iconic There's a Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow, which will continue to play as guests transition between the scenes. Okay, so relatable for today's audience. We know what that means.
Woke. Sorry.
Yeah,
Pardon.
I can't read.
Woke.
Related. Yeah.
Relatable to today's audience. So
Yeah, today's audience. Let's see. Are we going to have rainbow flags?
I can't stand it when they say that, because every time you do that, it's an insult to humanity.
yeah,
What I mean by that is that audiences are always audiences. It's not like today's audience is different than an audience of the past. It's the same people, right? It's
they forget
it's
that
so
the current audience was raised by the previous audience. There's a consistent passing on and handing down. There is a common denominator in humanity in what is passed down. And you know, MJ brought up a good point the other day. I forget which stream it was on, that her kids are disappointed in these changes because they liked going on the original version and learning about how life was like in those earlier pioneer days when electricity was invented, plumbing, you know, train, travel, you know, all those things. And they're taking all that away. And for what? You do understand that there's nothing awestrucking to Gen Z, Gen Alpha, when they were born in the era of technology. You're going to bore them. What they really like is how did we survive and live before all these inventions? That's attractive to kids. And her kids are they're late elementary, like middle school age. We're talking 10 to like 13 years of age, and they're actually disappointed. That's the audience Disney thinks. Oh, they're bored with that kind of history. You know, they want to see Hannah Montana. That's the kind of history they want. They want early 2000s and 2010s. And it's like, no, they actually don't. Because guess what? If they really wanted that, don't you think your Disney Plus numbers would reflect differently?
Yeah, they
don't
want
know how to math in that company. Let me tell you.
No, they really don't. I mean, Camera Girl, she loves going to Carousel of Progress. Yeah, it's like the same reason why. Why is it historical dramas and historical recreation movies, you know, are so popular with Gen Z? It's just I mean, to go back a little bit, I thought this was freaking hysterical. Okay, so I forget which painting of this one guy, which I guess in the 19th century paintings you really didn't see people paint them face on, but this guy, he was painted like facing forward, and he's got his hand on his cane. He's kind of pointing towards people. The kids mean the heck out of that. And it was like they took modern phrases and translated it back into like Victorian style increment. Instead of saying, you know, like ish happens, excrement has become realistic. I mean, this is what they would do because they thought that it was, you know, that it was cool to do that. And it's different. It's like it's boring when things are the same.
And
you know,
Gen Z, Gen Alpha, you know what they're also fascinated with? Rotary phones.
Yes, call waiting. Get off the phone because
that never gets old. Them trying to figure out how these old phones worked. You know, my in-laws have a had one of the first phones. I don't know. I don't know how they landed this, but it's one of the old ones where it's on the hook, like what you see at.
With like the little horn kind of
Yeah,
part thing. Yeah.
And it works is the thing. They actually, according to my husband, when they were growing up, it was an active working telephone in their house. And I'm like, oh, that is awesome. That is fascinating. I don't know if they still have it, but it is quite the relic that they have in their house. And it's like, it's retro is in, and it's been in for a while. It's the thing.
Quite some time. I mean, who remembers the Mickey phone? The 1974 version.
I'd actually probably still buy one. Just put it.
I would totally buy that. The kids.
It's a giant one at Pop Century.
Yeah, that's why I stayed. That's why I stayed in that building. Do you know that was one of the most popular buildings to try to get because people wanted the Mickey phone?
I remember going into like the old AT&T stores, like back when AT&T was like, was your landline phone company before cell phones were a thing, and they had the phone there. You could rent or you could purchase the phone, but it was in the monthly installments on your phone plan. I remember wanting it so bad, and my dad being like, "Yeah, I know, it's a waste of money."
I mean, it's
it's so weird.
What?
That phones used to be just phones.
they did, but to tack on to that, okay, the first scene in the Carousel of Progress, the invention of the phone, and how that changed everyone's lives. I mean, go for the phone, on the wall to, you can actually carry it with you, and not just voice. Now we have voice and data, because that was the thing. Anybody could come up, with the phone. It's like, yeah, cell phone, I can carry it with me. But the next innovative move of progress was adding the ability to access the internet on your phone, making it your smartphone, which was the next leap to innovation. But kids won't freaking know that if they don't see the history that came, before.
They don't think to ask, oh, when was the first phone ever invented? They don't, for one, when you're a child, you just don't think critically like that. Critical thinking has to be developed, and it's developed through parents and your teachers, and because they're born into all this tech, it's not at the front part of their brain. And it's like in Disney, you're really just going to cater to what they were already born into. You're not bringing them anything original and different.
No.
Just because you're bored with Walt's version of Carousel of Progress doesn't mean your audience is. Now, I will admit, and MJ did bring up this point, but Lorena and Ron, you guys are in the parks more. But I have to admit that the times that we've been, it's not, the crowds aren't as grandiose as they used to be on the attraction when I was growing up. And I get that, but that doesn't mean you change it just because you're not, because your every theater isn't full to capacity. Like, I'm sorry, there's just some things you just don't want to mess with, and not everything needs to have a lightning lane. Not everything needs to be monetized. There are some things for historical purposes you just need to leave it alone.
And I wholeheartedly agree with you on that, because it's, man, one of the things that I kept saying, and I'd actually done this in a survey that Disney put out. I said, the Carousel of Progress, I would love to see, okay, update the last scene, because that's, everyone expects for that one to be like modern day, here we are, where are we going to go? I expect that one. But it's like, maybe change some of the other previous time periods, like say the Depression in the 1930s. Maybe show that, when Walt was trying to get his company back together. Perhaps 1940, World War II, And even if they wanted to exit, I can even see, even with 1960, the space program was the biggest American technological achievement at that time. We were trying to beat the Russians to the moon. And we also cleaned out a lot of stuff in Germany called Operation Paperclip. And we got Werner von Braun actually to come over here to teach our engineers. And that's how we got, that's how the space program came about.
That was the time that Arnim Zola had infiltrated S.H.I.E.L.D. Oh, I mean, no, wait, that's a whole. That was fiction. My bad. Sorry.
But it's like I would love to see, that kind of stuff. If the 40s were not that popular, then tell me, why is it that Call of Duty, Modern Warfare, World at War, one of the most popular popular incarnations of first-person shooter games, is World War II? For real. I mean,
still reference the moon landing, just change the script a little bit,
exactly.
In the scene where it's like the 1960s, and all it is just a change of the script. You can reference it. You don't necessarily need a visual. I guess if you wanted to have a visual, you could have a TV somewhere nearby that has like a recording, like an old videotape recording of a man walking on the moon. But it doesn't require a massive overhaul.
No,
I agree with Dan. I wish that they could have a bigger carousel.
I would really like that.
A massive building, and that building is already huge for like was it 4 or 5 scenes they have now? Could you imagine adding like 3 or 4?
Yeah,
but the problem is, the problem with them doing this is getting rid of what are they going to do? Like, those old scenes that were there, they need to be somewhere. They need to be somewhere where you could go and like at least see them. And
what's going to happen? They're going to pull all that stuff out. It's going to go to the Disney archives. And then on occasion, they will have a traveling museum to showcase it around the US. And they will have the old animatronics that from Walt's era that we see today will be showcased. And then Disney's going to come back with, there you go. We haven't forgotten about Walt.
We'll drag them
right to freaking Omaha, Nebraska, from wherever the hell you live, to go see this museum, to showcase, these animatronics, like 1950 whatever, from the World's Fair. And when you could have just, I don't know, left it alone and had it right there in your park, where you actually get more traffic to your parks than you are people to traveling to places like Omaha, Nebraska for some kind of Disney archives, traveling museum thing.
But they can't even, it's like they can't leave it alone, because it's interesting. Yet again, here we go. Imagineers working on this refresh grew up during these decades. So it's been a real trip down memory lane to visit fashion, technology, blah, 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 blah. That's the problem. The history of now, for the same reason that you'll have some of these people out there that think that history only started with them. Like for Simu Liu, who said he was the first Asian action star. I'm just like Jackie Chan, Jet Li. They want to have a conversation.
What Disney's going to do in these new scenes that references the 1980s and the 90s? They're going to stick IP references in those scenes. The Eisner era Disney. I mean, if they can even manage to get that right, because they're so busy in their stupid messaging. They're too into today to even get their heads into Eisner's rear end for the 80s and 90s.
This is the biggest thing that I don't like about that calling, saying audiences are modern audience is it creates this thing where people of today look at the past or history through today's lens and they judge it that way. And I hate that. That's so it's super, super duper wrong. Everybody lived in, I hate it when they go back and they do. There's a phrase that I saw one time, I think it was in conjunction with Disney. It's like, well, it was Oh, I know where it is. It's on the messaging before a Disney Plus show. It was wrong back then and it's wrong now. And it was something about Peter Pan or whatever. And I'm like,
the trigger
Yeah, the trigger warnings. That was so
it's
stupid.
just like, just
I'm like,
shut up.
Show the freaking
Stop
movie.
Talking down to your audience. It's and I know Lorraine
I don't need a moral lecture from you on what you think is morally correct or not correct. Leave that to my family. You know, just entertain me.
It's like Song of the South. It's like Song of the South, because some people misjudge what Song of the South is really about. Now they
never watched it.
Say, let's put they put that on everybody. It's super annoying. It's super duper annoying.
It really is. And I'm going to go through these time periods real quick. So first, there's the 1960s. Okay, so the summer of 1969, our Carousel family, along with millions around the world, gather around the television to witness one of humanity's greatest achievements, the historic moon landing. That sucker is already in Spaceship Earth. All right. You know, the scene that you go by where they used to have the mousetrap game out there, but they're watching, you know, the moon landing. So yes, the moment captures the spirit of innovation and possibility that has always been and always will be at the heart of the carousel of progress. Again, like I was saying, how did we manage to do the moon landing? Start back with 1940 and World War II. And then pulling that knowledge in like the 1950s with our engineers working on everything that led up to the moon landing, because it's not like we just landed on the moon. Okay, that didn't happen. We first had the Mercury mission, which was one person that tested how space affects the human body. Then we had the Gemini program, which was 2 people to test how we could work together in teams in space. And then there was the Apollo mission, which took us to the moon. So you're missing all of that additional information by just, oh yeah, we just landed on the moon. We just landed on the moon, and that's it. And are they going to talk about all the technological advancement that fell out of the moon landing, like Tang? I'm just saying.
I was going to ask if they're going to be drinking Tang in the scene, because like that's, you got to have Tang, right?
Astronaut, what was it? Astronaut ice cream. You know, all this stuff. Are they going to have?
I love freeze-dried ice cream. That's the best.
I'm forgetting which astronaut it was.
It's nothing like paying $9 for 2 teaspoons of ice cream.
Yeah, I mean, you know, all of that stuff is like missing. So it's like, you know, we didn't start. American innovation did not start in the 1960s, but that's where they want to start. I don't get it, but that's where they want to start. But it makes no sense. What Gen Z is probably it's like, what the heck are the 1960s? I don't even know what the heck that is. So they're talking about Act 2.
All I can say is if they are starting with 69, they better turn it around.
Also, Alan Shepard for being American in space. Yeah, was it Alan Shepard who did the Sudafed commercial? Was maybe John Glenn did Sudafed commercial? I just yes, some of us still drink Tang. Yes, for straight up nostalgic reasons.
Yeah, we were.
My mom would not buy it. My mom would not buy me Tang. I'm like, history started with the boomers who knew. Yeah, don't get me started on our system of boomers. But yeah, 1980s, okay, which I understand, but still, in the 80s where everything is bigger and better and things kept on getting bigger. I wonder if they're going to talk about, you know, the new generation with the 80s, which, you know, Wall Street, Gordon Gekko. Anyway, we pick up with the family on Halloween night of 1985, and for the first time ever, Sarah is taking center stage.
Oh, of course, because we can't have male-centric anything.
No, we can't have. I mean, I don't have an issue with her sharing how the appliances and gadgets are making life easier, but didn't she do that already
in 1950?
In 1950 with using.
They had juicers, they had blenders, they had toasters.
Yep.
Back in, actually, I want to say that goes back to the as early as the 1940s. I want to say some of those appliances go way back prior to
Now,
the
will Sarah be revealing that she was
Yeah.
actually born as Samuel?
Is she going to showcase her updated paint mixer? That's not, her KitchenAid mixer.
Mhm. Is she gonna have blue hair and a bull nose ring? I mean, I'm just,
Well,
I,
we got to be progressive.
I,
A
I'm
mom
just
can't be a
sick.
traditional looking mom. She's,
No,
gotta be, she can't be afraid to show off her body and,
Mhm.
express herself.
Oh, there was Walty Sharaf for Actifed. Thank you. I knew it was some medication that I had to take because Benadryl put me to sleep. I've had allergies ever
Man,
since
I
I was
haven't
little.
heard that word in years.
No, right?
Is that what Sudafed is now?
No, Sudafed. I remember Sudafed is different. Sudafed had like this coating on it. Actifed did not. Actifed didn't. But I just remember that for the 80s or some, they had a microwave, but they did have a Mr. I remember Mr. Coffee. Will they focus on the personal computer? I don't know. Yet again, they have already got that.
Yeah, we already got that in the last scene right now where the mother is on a laptop.
That's right. She's on the laptop. She's, well, I think, yeah, she's on the desktop
she's
computer.
programming the kitchen to be a smart kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
She's basically the IT boss of the household. That's what they're showcasing right now.
But also, once again, Spaceship Earth already has this with the scene of Steve Wozniak in his garage.
Yeah,
creating the Apple computer sisters are doing it for themselves. I keep thinking of that scene from Married with Children. And that's what I was saying, Dan. That's already there. And John's handing out candy to trick-or-treaters. And poor Uncle Orville can be found in the bathroom with no privacy around here. What does Uncle Orville have in the bathroom with him? We don't want to know.
A tablet? Yeah. He's got a tablet. That's great.
Yes, they did. They did. An incarnation of
it's so crazy.
Yeah.
If you go on YouTube and look at, just type in like retro kitchens or 1960s, 50s kitchens, you will see old vintage, almost infomercials from back then that have been updated in color and like have HD quality, or I guess I cleaned it up with AI. And they are literally like infomercials on what the latest technology was available at that point for a modern day kitchen for a woman. And let me tell you, some of the inventions they had back then, I wish they had now in kitchens. Like they had some really advanced ideas and concepts, but and understand that back then these videos were for your upper middle class, wealthy class families that could afford these advanced fancy kitchens, and it's just crazy how, oh God, like we have the pot filler today, right? Which is kind of the thing. They had these nooks and crannies where you could store your flour and your sugar and your coffee. They I don't know, I can't explain it, but it's just fascinating to see the models that were modeling a mother in the kitchen, how they dressed, their hair and makeup, the narrator,
the skirt, it's like I remember
I love those
some of those
I love watching the videos.
And because in addition to like the upper class, but they were also marketing to a lot of veterans, because now you had people back from World War II, with the whole boom in like American production. So you also had that, like if you ever see, the ads, this is the perfect place to settle, and it was very, very commercialized. So kitchen gadgets from the 1950s was something else.
they had some really good ideas. And I don't know what happened over the years, the eras, that a lot of those concepts just never stayed around, essentially. But I looked around, I'm like, some of these like kitchens from back then, you're looking at these old vintage infomercials. I'm not gonna lie, I think I'd rather have a kitchen have the wealthy family's kitchen from 1965, than what we get today. It's and it's funny because they showcase brands that we know today, like GE, and I guess like I want to say, is it Whirlpool? Maybe it's been around that long. I know GE. I remember GE being mentioned in one of these, and no, the latest of GE.
Yeah, we bring these things to life, and even some things like no joke, the darn KitchenAid stand mixer. You will have to pry that thing from my cold dead hands, and I don't know how long it's been like around. But it seems to me like it's always been around, the KitchenAid mixer.
I think it does date back to the 50s, KitchenAid, the mixers anyways. I do think it goes way, way back, which is why I had to get me a new one.
I love mine. I'm like, what do you mean there's a pasta attachment on it too? I freaking love mine since the 1930s. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
that checks.
If you ask me what was like the OG kitchen gadget, like from back then, I would say like the KitchenAid. And that's the thing with the KitchenAid stand mixer. It's like purposely retro looking. That's what would sell. My mom wore dresses all the time and would dress up to go grocery shopping. Yeah, that was
my grandmothers were like that. You did not leave the house unless you were presentable to the public. Yes. You had to look classy when you left the house. And I distinctly remember, at least one of my grandmothers, saying, you don't want people looking at you like you're trash.
Exactly.
You're not trash. And I'm not raising trash. No. I'm raising a lady. And they were very blunt about, they're very blunt in their words, that generation what did they call the boomers before the boomers?
Oh gosh, I forget.
Our grandparents.
I forget.
Because our parents are boomers, but what were their parents?
They other categorically known as the greatest generation.
The greatest. Okay, so it was that generation, and they didn't. Those women did not mince any words with their granddaughters. You are not trash. You're not going to look like trash because I'm not raising trash.
Yeah, they're like, we may be poor, but you know what? Soap and water and good manners are free.
Yep, exactly.
So yeah, they had the greatest generation who raised the boomers, and the boomers tried to indoctrinate us, and that didn't work. But we listened to our grandparents a whole lot.
No, we didn't we? Isn't that crazy?
And they indoctrinated us like, it was crazy. They're just like, okay, our kids are a lost cause. So that's why I swear to God, I'm like, man, why is it more often than not? I'm just like, man, that sounds like good old fashioned communism. Oh my God, I sound like my grandfather. I sound like my grandfather. I was like, I thought he was making this stuff up. No. It's crazy. That's literally why Gen X is the way we are. Our parents can do anything with us, but the grandparents.
And one of the scenes are going to change the grandmother flipping. You know how you have the scene we have now where she flips the TV to wrestling, the old boxing. I don't remember if wrestling, which is boxing. Yeah. Well, now in the new scene, and this is where the whole IP thing comes in. They're going to have her flip the channel to essentially like probably WWE or WCW from like the 80s or 90s. So the scene will be there. It's just going to be updated to her flipping the channel when Grandpa falls asleep. To probably, because I mean, you figure Disney's got that ESPN, the sports.
ESPN, but do
thing.
they?
I wonder if they're going to like kind of, you know what I mean? Just put a little reference in there. How they do that.
Which would make sense because wrestling was so like huge in the 80s. Yeah, that'd be interesting to see what they do with that if they have the darn license. I know, has it? Yeah, take luck. I was like, go ahead, Grandma. So now we go to Act 3, the new millennium, which is Y2K, which was so uneventful if you lived through it. I mean, I was in tech and we're just like, this is the biggest freaking enough. Being on call, okay, for New Year's Day, just in case, and then finding out all this old ass software, which is still running your bank software. I'm sorry to tell you, your bank software, the software that fills your prescriptions and all that stuff.
It's old. Huh?
Old as hell. It's so old. It's so
works,
old.
and it's cheap.
And that's the thing. It works. It's cheap. There's no bloatware. There's no vibe coding. I mean, you just have to figure out how to integrate it, but it still freaking runs. It is crazy. I mean, technological dinosaur type of stuff. People didn't think that their code would still be working 20, 30, 40, 50 years later, but it still does. So apparently this new thing called the internet is bringing John, Sarah, Jimmy, and Patty and the world closer together than ever.
Oh, so they're closer than ever. I'm waiting for Ron on this one. They're all going to be on their cell phones, not even acknowledging each other. They'll be texting each other. Can you grab me that beer?
Get me that,
or that
thing
root beer.
Get me that thing. Are they going to show the AOL screen where the guys
and you'll hear the dial-up in the background?
Yeah, hear the dial-up noise. You know, that kind of thing is going on.
Are they going to have Lycos Messenger?
Or Alta Vista?
or
something like that. Or you know what they're gonna have? You know what they're gonna have? Google search engine.
But Google didn't come around until
Google has been around since 1998. They've been around and then around 19 I want to say 19, was it 1999 2000? It's pretty close. I think like right around turn of the century. That's when Google came around.
That would make sense.
Let's see. I'm trying to think. I'm gonna look this up right now.
Do you think the reference
Google was officially Google was officially launched in 1998.
Okay, that makes sense why I wasn't aware because you understood
officially,
the household I was raised in.
Officially
no technology
founded. Yeah, the only reason I know is because I was in tech and they're just like, yeah, we got this new search engine called Google. You just put stuff in there and like forget Alta Vista, forget Ask G, forget all that, forget Yahoo.
Ask Jeeves.
I remember Google. All it was Google and a search bar. And I kid you not, my kid did an entry for the Google Doodle. She didn't get picked, but I still have the artwork. But yeah, it was just Google. So they're probably gonna have, Google. Let's see. If you're anything like my family, not everybody is making it to midnight. Grandpa's already nodded off. Grandma sneaks to the TV to watch wrestling when nobody's looking. I'm guessing it's not gonna be Hulk Hogan.
It'd be funny if it was.
It sure would. Well, you know what? It'll probably be the freaking Rock.
Probably.
I'm gonna call it right now. It's gonna be Rock.
It's got to be a modern day reference. They're not actually going to be historically accurate on any of this.
No. He's got to yell. Two things. They have to show the Rock, and he has to say, "Can you smell what the Rock is cooking?"
I remember Cold Stone Steve Austin being the big thing in the later 90s.
Him?
For wrestling.
Yep.
I remember more of him than I do The Rock. I don't know why. I don't know. I wasn't an avid follower of wrestling either to know like when all these characters came into play. Order Raph would know he freaking followed it his whole childhood.
I mean, you had the Rock, Steve Austin,
The
Undertaker.
He was a big one. Mm-hmm.
It was pretty cool. Yeah, you guys. Yeah, too. Stone Cold, The Undertaker. Yeah, WWE. Yep. So that's the 80s. And then we go to the possible future. And this one scares me the most. As we reach the end of our show, we see the family one last time in the distant future in an out of this world home From a helpful robot assisting with everyday tasks to space travel, the scene imagines a future where extraordinary innovation has become part of life and proves that a great, beautiful tomorrow is just a dream away. Okay, we've seen this.
We have Roombas.
We have Roombas, you know.
Roombas can mop floors now too.
We got that. We got Siri.
Yeah.
You know they're going to use Siri. You know they're going to.
You think I'm wondering if they're going to put Wally in there, and Wally will bring Grandpa's root beer to him.
Mm-hmm. And crush the can for you, and all of that. This same artwork looks like the same artwork that's in that last part of Spaceship Earth.
Yep. It's the same concept.
Thank you.
When you're doing the flat screens, and they change and put your head on the little avid. Yeah, I was noticing that too. The art is the same art style.
Yeah, it looks the same. And yeah, in Spaceship Earth, it's like, this is what could happen. They ask you all these questions and about the future. So I'm like, okay, yeah, it does sound like the Jetsons. Yeah, I know. I am too.
Yeah, it does. That's what Rafa was saying. It's the Jetsons, and they just can't call it that. And you'll have Rosie. Well, you'll have Wally.
Yeah, Wally been rolling around. Of course, there'll be Eve. That's like there too.
The Disney IP Easter eggs I think are definitely going to be there, like Mickey Mouse Club, Hannah Montana. Whatever was hot in the 80s and 90s for pop culture, Disney pop culture anyways, are going to have little Easter eggs on each scene, which I mean is cute and all, and don't get me wrong, it's fun, but it just doesn't bring the same entertainment value as how, like, when the telephone was invented, and the light bulb and plumbing and all that stuff. That to me is more fascinating than more entertainers. Okay, they've been around since like the invention of live entertainment on stage. Like, that's really nothing.
I mean,
it's kind of always been around. Going back to like ancient Greece.
And you know what? You bring up a good point, because what is one of the main things that makes Spaceship Earth so popular? And that is an attraction where, I mean, sometimes it's 5 minutes if if the crowds are low, or if it's the beginning of the day. But that's consistently has people running all up in there. Why? Because of the progress that it makes from the, caveman era through to like the scene from Greece. That blows my freaking mind when I see that, how realistic the animatronics are. And it's just like, that's true progress. You see how we progress from the Greek language and mathematics, and then translating Greek into like Latin and English. You see like the Roman Empire. And yes, I love Dame Judi Dench talking about how the Roman Empire was basically the first World Wide Web. And that was absolutely true, because all roads led to Rome.
Sorry.
That was not
that was a joke, but I'm like, you know what? I don't think it really is. It's actually
no. It was 100% true. All the Roman roads led to Rome. One point of origin. The information traveled so fast. That's why the Roman Empire was so powerful. Yeah, because they could move people, troops, information, like no one's business because of that. And then you go from the Roman Empire to the library, Rome getting burned, Library of Alexandria getting burned.
I wonder if Disney's mentality is, we're already showcasing that type of historical timeline of progress on Spaceship Earth, people can just go to that attraction if they want that kind of nostalgia. While meanwhile, we'll update Carousel of Progress into a different era of progress. I'm kind of wondering if that angle came into those conversations during those team meetings.
It may have. I know with Spaceship Earth, the recurring theme was communication.
Yeah.
And the power of communication being able to propel progress forward. And that was like more of a technological.
Remember 6 years ago when they were going to update Spaceship Earth?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
I was not
6 years ago when they still had their old Imagineers.
Or most or a good percentage of them, yeah. I'm like, I granted, some people don't like it, but I do, because I love Dame Judi Dench. I do. So I love that she narrates Spaceship Earth. I'm like, who is that? I said M from James Bond, because M was a woman, so that's what she took that one. But yeah, with Spaceship Earth, it was like how we were able to communication and different modes of communication, which all started back from caveman era. It's cold and we are fighting for survival, and even the temperature of the room got cold too.
Yeah.
when you go in
the scenes, it's funny because in the scenes they do showcase some of the stuff you see in Carousel of Progress. It does showcase like the old telephone and computers. There are little elements there. I'm just wondering if Disney Imagineering was just kind of like, oh, well, we kind of already have that on Spaceship Earth, and that ride, gets enough traction, of guests.
Yeah.
But over here at Carousel of Progress, and I agree with, I forgot who said it. It may have been you, Ron, where they're looking to, they just want to monetize. They just want to lightning lane anything and everything they can.
Yeah, because that's the revenue stream.
Joke is on them when the popularity dies down and the attendance on the new Carousel of Progress isn't any better than what it is now.
Yeah, it's not. And
that's probably what's going to happen.
Yeah, it's not going to go over well. It's like the same thing that happened with the justification for taking away Muppets 3D. Claimed that it wasn't popular. Then they say they shut it down.
The Jamboree.
Yes, that's too.
Although
it could have been much worse.
Yeah,
I'm still not happy with it. Although I will say, just to look at the animatronics, I will sit there because I love the animatronics in that show, but it is not. It's nowhere near as kitschy as it was. I mean, if I can't hear Blood on the Saddle, if I can't hear Please Don't Whip Little People, you should hear it instead. And all the kids were like dying because it's so violent. People just clapping. That is the one show people are just happy to be in there. Granted, it's nice and cool because you can get Bear Hall and everything. And go inside, and it's like, yeah, the songs are cheesy, but we expect them to be, because we're like in a different era. But yeah,
but it was original bluegrass country like songs. It wasn't, oh, we're gonna throw a whole new world in there and turn it into a country song. It doesn't sound right.
No,
I don't like a whole new world being sang with a country twang to it. It just doesn't land.
And not even the whole song. And that's the thing for the TikTok generation. You notice none of these are full songs.
Yeah, they're just not. It's like the ringtone era. Remember when ringtone and we're still kind of there. It's a condensed version. And even kids don't like it now. I mean, they complain, like we were talking earlier, with the Beauty and the Beast sing-along. They want to hear the entire song.
Yeah, they want to hear the whole entire thing. So, like I said, keep an eye on what's going on with this, but I'll make this prognostication right now. As soon as Carousel of Progress gets updated, Liberty Square is on the chopping block next.
I've been saying that for years. I have been telling Raph since we were dating. I don't know what it is. It's just something about this area. One day, I'm telling you, it's
They
not going to
don't.
be here.
No.
And then
Mhm.
when we went on Hall of Presidents, was it back in 2016? It was like the real hype of all the
Mhm.
division, the political division. And when we sat in that theater and there were people clapping and booing, and the fact that you have to have security in there to ensure that
I
people are
know.
going to, be quiet during the show. When that started happening, I'm like, okay, it is on the chopping block now, even more than it ever was.
Exactly.
And I agree. I think it's now, I have been saying for a while what they could have done, which I would have been okay with, convert Liberty Square into a New Orleans square. And with the Rivers of America being right there, and right
Mhm.
adjacently right there, you had the Liberty or the Mark.
Liberty Tree
Yeah,
in Tavern.
you had
Yeah.
the boat. You had the like the southern, Louisiana boat. And I'm like, they
Mhm.
could have done
Yeah, the
so much.
riverboat.
They could have done so much with
That's good, yeah.
Tiana by turning
Mhm.
Liberty Square into a mini New Orleans, and then you got the boat right there. They could have done so much with that, and without ripping it out and doing what they're doing now.
Yeah. And I totally take that Liberty Square thing personal, because once you find out that you have um, distant ancestors, cousins, families who were fundamentally involved in the founding of this country, it becomes even more offensive. The fact that that would be on a chopping block, but we shall see. We shall see with what's going on with Disney doing the very definition of insanity. But as a palate cleanser, and I think it is, I saw this on Instagram and this cracked me.
Gosh. I have a vague memory of that Goofy with the
Mhm.
Michael Jackson hair. Oh my gosh.
I'm like, wow.
Jeez.
Yeah, because he was always, always at Disney World. Just
I
that's
completely
killing me
forgot
right
about.
there.
I do. I remember that floating around. I think I saw it on TV when I was a kid. That's so
Yeah,
crazy. Things that we forget from our childhood.
I know. I know that's one of the great things about the internet. And if Disney was smart, if you want to do something for quote unquote modern audiences, Gen Z discovering through technology what was in the past. Finding out these things, like, hey, I wasn't around it, but what, really, they would do this. This is what happened. Back then, you can't change for the sake of change is fruitless. It's absolutely fruitless. And you're going to see the results of that happens. Of course, Rivers of America start turning into, dirt rally that you can do anywhere. Tiana's broccoli adventure. No one talks about that,
Mm.
right? No one talks about that. You're so, again, it's like short-term changes, or say long-term, short-term changes, and you're not really getting any gain from them. You're
No.
not really preserving anything. Why do you think that there's a cottage industry? We said this on the channel many times. We're gonna have to go to Tokyo Disneyland,
Yeah.
to see the Disney that Walt Disney truly
Could you imagine if Tokyo Disney is like, you know what? Since they're screwing it up in the States, we'll recreate Carousel of Progress.
That's very possible. because that's Oriental Land Company.
Yeah,
So
technically, they could replicate identically. It may not be the same technology, you know, not going to have all the old 1950s and 60s parts for the animatronics, but they could still replicate it to the T. It would just be animatronics and have the newer tech.
I remember that Freedom Seeker. Yeah, we used to rent it at
that you
Disneyland
had to when you think about it, because
on the regular, because I remember this because the one time I went to Disneyland and I took Camera Girl. The Captain EO that was at Epcot was okay. The Captain EO that was at Disneyland was next level. That's all she could talk about.
We only went to the one I did. Well, because, you know, we were going to go to California. My dad wasn't going to spend that money. But we went to the one at Disney World.
Yeah, I totally get it. And we happened to go out there one year because we could make it, and we were at Disneyland. And we're like, Captain EO show. Oh, we saw this in Disney World. I don't want to go. My daughter's like, no, I want to go. And we did, and I'm glad we did. Just the effects, everything was just absolutely freaking amazing. And wow, it's so cool. Yeah, Gen Z is that. Well, some of them are discovering for the first time. Some of them have known Michael Jackson songs without knowing that they were Michael Jackson songs.
Yeah.
There's like music that I cannot remember the names of, but if I hear them like from like the 60s and 70s, I don't know the name, but I know
Gen Z is more in tune to music from the 70s through the 90s and even the newer stuff that they're playing. It's crazy. Like all of my son's friends, they're all up in the 90s rock and alternative and heavy metal. They don't even really like the new stuff and the new bands. They're tuning into the old, and it doesn't matter if the artist is dead or alive.
No,
the music is just better.
It's like old school R&B, old school rap. Just you know, they're just like going back to all this other stuff. When rock was nothing but a party.
Yeah.
And Guns N' Roses was really a lot of drugs. Anyway. Anyway, folks, thank you so much. Yeah, I'm sorry I said this in the end of the show. Thank you guys for hanging out with us for Resort Recon Live. We sure do appreciate it. We just have fun talking with you guys in the chat, bringing up stuff that's out in the theme parks. Erica, what do you have going on, and where can people find you?
Oh, goodness. So a lot's going on. We moved from Germany to El Paso, Texas, and we've been here barely a month. I'm in my temporary setup in my closet. That's why I got a virtual background. And we're still getting settled, but we are still live streaming on Fridays. I did have to change the time because, new time zone, work schedule. So we are now on Fridays at 5 p.m. Mountain Time, which is 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And I know it can be a bit of an inconvenience, but that's with Raph working, and the whole premise of the stream is me and Raph, you guys hanging out with us together. That was the best we could come up with his 40-hour-a-week schedule. And but yeah, so that's we're just streaming once a week. Raph is anxious to start vlogging and doing our local stuff, and I'm over here nervous about it because I'd rather have my entire rig with my monitors to edit, because I don't really have all my equipment. But yeah, that's pretty much what's going on our channel.
Okay, well, folks, make sure that you subscribe to Erica's channel. I'll have to link to her channel and link to Ron's channel at the end of the stream. Ron, where can people find you, and what do you have going on, my dear?
Well, we do the dish live on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. Mondays at 2:05 p.m., Tuesdays at 3:05 p.m., and Wednesdays at 4:05 p.m. It's pretty easy to remember, 234. And sometimes my wife and I will do a live on Sundays at 5 in the afternoon. I'm also working on some other videos, some of which we covered a little bit of those topics today, but it's I'm working on my first essay / documentary type of video about changes that Disney made that they probably wish they hadn't at this point. So it's going to be interesting. I was working on it this morning, and I'm excited for it to come out because it's going to perhaps change some things on the channel, and especially if it works out well, I want to do more like it because I'm having an interesting time just researching it, and then it's interesting. So, and that, and then of course I had I was recently did the update on Rock and Roller Coaster, so that's on the channel. Star Wars Day is on the channel, and quite a few other things. So go check it out. Right. Follow the Bradley's Fun.
Yes, folks, and you can see their links down there in the description box. Make sure you subscribe to them. As for your girl, change in what film we're actually going to see tonight for my watch party. So at 8 p.m. Eastern tonight, we are having a watch party, myself and Retro Nerd Girl, for the 1985 film Masters of the Universe, starring Dolph Lundgren.
I know where you're going with that.
Yeah, we are watching that.
You're going to watch that first before you head to the movies to watch the new one?
With Monica Geller?
Yeah. Yeah. So I was going to go Wednesday for the early access event, but I can't make it. So I'm going to go Thursday to go and see it. So in preparation for that, yes, we are watching the OG Masters of the Universe film. It's time in a bottle. That's mildly.
It's it's funny because so many people forgot, when they're watching Friends that Monica Geller starred in that movie, and she was also a big part of Family Ties as well.
Yeah,
I completely forgot about that.
Yeah,
I did too.
Yeah, I was really, really young when Family Ties was like a popular TV show.
Mm-hmm. I just watched it on
I have the power.
I can't wait. So that, of course, tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern, and of course Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Welcome to Florida. Only in Dade. If you don't know, you need to check out the show to find out. Yeah, only in Dade. What makes Dade County so darn fascinating and so darn weird? And by Dade County, we're talking Miami, Hialeah, that whole area. Yes, lots of video. So we're going to talk about that only in Dade. And for my channel members, tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern, we are going to be watching the remaining, I believe, 5. Yeah, the remaining 5 episodes of Spider Noir. We are watching it in black and white. We were only going to watch 2 episodes on Thursday, but it was so good. We watched the 3rd episode, and oh my God, the end of the 3rd episode, we're just like, what did I just watch? What did I just see? So yeah, we're going to be catching up with that amazing show. So if you're a channel member, watch the posts over on my channel. I'll have the Cosme link ready to kind of remind everybody. So we're gonna be watching that. So thank you guys so much for supporting my channel. Please do support all of my guests here on the panel. Let us know in the comments, what do you think about the Carousel progress being updated for modern audiences? We would like to hear from you. Much love. Take care, everyone. Bye.